5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Welcome to the Next Dimension Podcast, your portal to an extended reality. Every week we talk about the hottest topics in XR and let you join the discussion live on MRTV. And now, get ready for another exciting episode coming up.
Hi, welcome to the third episode of the Next Dimension Podcast, your new podcast about your favorite topic, which is virtual reality. And in the future, probably we're also going to talk about augmented reality. Hi, and Happy New Year. I'm here, of course, with the team, with the regulars here, with Tony from VR365. How are you doing, Tony?
I'm doing real good. How's it going?
Good, good. Really looking forward to that podcast show tonight. And also, of course, here with me is Steve, the VR flight sim guy. Steve, how are you doing?
I'm very well. Good to be here again. It's actually great just to, be back on the show. Looking forward to it.
Amazing. Me too. Oh my goodness. It is the year 2021. Finally, we got rid of 2020. Woohoo! Yes. Great. It is so good to get rid of this year and really looking forward to the next year. So, in today's show, we are not only going to talk about the Microsoft Flight Simulator for VR, and this is a topic that I'm really looking forward to learn about from Steve, right? Steve, you looked into it quite a bit.
Oh, yes.
Okay, that's perfect. So I can't wait to hear what you have to say about performance. I can't wait what you have to say about the visuals in the G2 or in the Rift S and all the headsets that you've been using. And in general, what you think of the Microsoft Flight Simulator. And if you think this is the best, probably. I know that you like the Aero Fly, the other one. X-Plane 11. And
Aerofly.
Aerofly,
FS2,
right?
Yeah.
Exactly, yeah. So this is going to be
amazing sim.
This is going to be pretty exciting to find out what you think about it. Perfect. And of course, we're going to talk about the best stuff of 2020, the best VR games, the best VR hardware out there. And I'm really looking forward to find out what you, Tony, have to say about that. What is your favorite game going to be? I think it should be probably Medal of Honor.
No, not my favorite.
Okay, yeah. We're going to find out. We're going to find out what your favorite game is going to be. So really, really looking forward to this. My dear friends, for all of you out there who don't know yet about this show, this is a new podcast about VR and AR. Is going to go live every Saturday, 9 p.m. Central European Time. That is 8 p.m. in the UK. That is noon in San Francisco. And that is 3 p.m. in New York City. And well, this is not only a live show, you can also listen to this show as an audio podcast on Spotify, on SoundCloud, on Google, on Alexa, but not yet on iTunes. We're still waiting for Apple to say, okay, this show can be in our iTunes podcast. How to say that? In the thing. It's not there yet. It's not there yet, but it's hopefully going to be there soon. So we're still waiting for the approval from Apple's approval. But, well, you can listen to us on SoundCloud and simply watch this show live as you're doing right now. All right, cool. So also interesting about this show, we want to hear from you. So this is not just about you listening to the show. If you're watching this live now here on MRTV, you could also vote and you can make your voice heard. And today we have two questions. What is your favorite game of 2020 and what is your favorite VR hardware? And for the games, the following games you could vote. You could choose between Half-Life Alyx, The Walking Dead Saints and Sinners, Star Wars Squadrons, Population 1, Medal of Honor Above and Beyond, Microsoft Flight Simulator, Phasmophobia, Paper Beast, and Dreams. So please cast your vote. The link is down in the description of this video. And at the end of the show, we're going to tell you what you voted for. And this time, unlike the last show, I'm not going to forget about telling you the results. Then the second question: what was the best VR hardware of 2020? And you can choose between the Oculus Quest 2, the HP Reverb G2, the Vive Cosmos Elite, and the Pimax 8KX. So definitely go there right now. Again, the link down in the description of this video, and simply cast your vote. We would be very happy if you take the chance to vote and simply be an active part of the show and let us know what was your favorite thing of 2020. All right, before we go to the Microsoft Flight Simulator, first let's do a little round. I want to know, how was your Christmas and how was your New Year's Eve celebration? Let's start with Tony. How did it go?
Yeah, both of them were very low key, which is fine for me. This is the one year where if you're not the party guy and you don't necessarily like to go to all these parties any damn way, this is the year where you just get to nope out and nobody can, say any bad things about you. So it was very chill, relaxed, and I'm good with it.
All right. Yeah, that's good. But then normally, how would you celebrate like New Year's Eve? I mean, Christmas, okay, we all stay with the family, right, and exchange presents. But probably on New Year's Eve, normally, would you go crazy? Would you go on a party normally? Get perfectly drunk?
Yeah. Normally on a New Year's Eve, in my 20s and stuff, yeah, that's where you hit the town. You do the whole thing, right? You try to live as big as possible. But in my later years, on New Year's Eve, it's usually like somebody will have a party at some house and it's like, okay, we're going to go there and we're going to basically be there for a bunch of hours. And it's like, I don't drink very often at all. Like I hardly ever drink.
Yeah.
And so New Year's, usually I would get pretty bombed because I could have like 4 beers and I'm like buzzing hard.
Okay. We should do that one fine day together.
Yeah.
Definitely, yeah.
That would be good.
That.
Yeah, right. Okay, so very low key this year. All right. Steve, how about your Christmas and your New Year's Eve?
Yeah, pretty much the same as Tony, actually. And to be honest, Christmas can be a bit much sometimes anyway, can't it, when you've got family that you don't really want to see. So, the fact that I could just go to my parents' house, chill out, have a bit of a, nice dinner and, chill out. It was really good, actually. And I'm very thankful that we was able to have at least that one day where we was able to go around and see family and that, But apart from that, pretty chilled out. As for New Year's Eve, usually I'll be gigging New Year's Eve, playing in a band, and I absolutely love doing that because you get like 3 times the more money than you normally would, and you get free drinks, and it's just a great party. But this year, I just literally had a cup of tea, kind of see the new year in, and that was it. Really, it was time for bed, and
right.
But no, it's nice. It was good to see the back of 2020 anyway, I think so.
Exactly. So what is your position in the band? Like the bass player or the guitar player, or what are you doing?
Well, I've been in too many bands, to be honest, and I should really like chill out with them, really. But I'm in my own sort of band, so I sing and try and sing a little bit and play the guitar. So that's my kind of I guess the front man person, you'd call it, really. But to be honest, I do enjoy just being in the background and just playing the guitar as well. It's kind of cool, really. So yeah.
Well, cool.
But it's quite heavy music. It might not be for everybody, but it's quite heavy metal kind of music. So.
Wow, that's cool. That's one of my things in my bucket list. Like once in my lifetime, I would be like on the stage with a guitar, with an e-guitar, and like the people are going crazy. And in that moment when everybody's totally going crazy, I take the guitar and I freaking smash it and destroy it and jump on it, and then I jump into the crowd. That is still on my bucket list,
Oh, you're going
Well,
to
you
join
know
my
what?
band as a guitarist. That'd be a great idea.
You know, supposedly with Neuralink, like they think like long distance in the future, you're going to actually be able to download the experiences of another human being and it'll just go through
Okay.
your brain. And so you could have that exact experience,
Oh.
MRTV.
Yeah,
How
yeah, I
amazing would
want
that
to.
be?
Wow,
I
that's
want
pretty
to. I want to. Am I going to start to call you now VR365, Tony? Yeah. We're just going to call us by our YouTube names now. Yeah, VR Flight Sim Guy. So, yeah. Anyway, so that's really, I really would love to do that. Like really smash the guitar. So that's why I'm learning the guitar right now, learning to play it. So at one point in time, I can smash it on
You're
the
learning
stage. I'm learning to do that. Yeah, that's my dream, man.
fantastic.
But you know,
Brilliant.
like Tony, what you were just talking about, right? About this downloading other people's experiences. Well, probably you have not read Ready Player 2, but this is exactly what it's about. So probably we've just told some people about it. That's exactly what Ready Player 2 is about. Yeah, it's a good book, by the way. I really enjoyed it. I listened to the audiobook. The audiobook is really good. It's read by Will Wheaton, right? And yeah, it's cool. Really good. Okay, cool. So your Christmas and New Year's Eve was just like more relaxing this year, right? And yeah, I must honestly say, for me, this year it was a bit different. Like I was completely drunk on Christmas Eve. Completely. Like normally we have a few beers and stuff, and we're very merry, and I'm reading from the Bible and stuff, like every year the same thing. But this year, instead of beer, for some strange reason, we had wine. And
Oh, God.
oh my God! And I'm not a
Never
wine
good
drinker. I'm really not a wine drinker, right? So I'm a beer drinker, as you know, right? And then the wine was there, and we didn't have so much beer. And then I just drank the wine like beer, like ooh, you know, like just I'm just like chugging it away like crazy. And wow, I was totally going crazy. I was so happy. And yeah, if you want to watch that, my wife, she's a YouTuber, and she recorded everything and put it onto her channel. So if you search YouTube for Eliza Ang, you're gonna find her channel. Go to that Christmas video, and you're going to see me go completely crazy on Christmas Eve. It was amazing. Yeah, and
I think what they say, beer before wine, feel fine.
yeah, I
wine
don't know.
before beer, feel
Yeah,
queer.
I felt very, very happy on that Christmas Eve. It was unbelievable. I don't know. Is it in Germany we have the presents on Christmas Eve? Do you have the presents on Christmas Eve or on the 25th?
No, it's got to be the 25th for us anyway in the UK.
Okay.
Yeah, I've always done it. Christmas Eve is like the real. I mean, Christmas Eve is the presents with all the family and stuff. And then like Christmas Day, your mom and dad might have like some little private presents for you in the morning.
Okay, I got it. Wow,
Even
it's
now, I
different.
still pretend that Santa comes. You know, I'm going down the stairs and I imagine Santa's there, and he goes through the chimney, and I'm wrestling with the door. I do that every year. I don't care. I'll be 50 and I'll still be doing that.
Right. Exactly. Yeah, that's cool. Yeah. So, do you also read from the Bible? Like, I'm reading from I'm reading from the Bible before we exchange the presents, right? I'm reading like the Christmas story.
Wow.
Yeah. That's
really
what
cool.
we
I
do
like
here.
that.
Yeah, that's what we do here.
Yeah.
Tony looks like he's not
wish
going
I
to read it. Tony's like
Yeah,
that.
I read the Bible back in the days, not so much recently.
Yeah, okay. Since you have your Quest 2, no more Bible reading. Just kidding, man. Just kidding. Yeah. Okay. Cool. Very nice. Yeah. But then the next few days I was very sick. So on New Year's Eve there was no more alcohol drinking. I was very, very relaxed. And here in Germany, you know, they prevented us from buying the rockets and the explosives. So this year was very strange. Normally it's like super loud and lots of rockets, right? And this year, no, nothing at all. Was it the same in the US and UK?
We
Not
have
really.
stuff going on all the time.
Okay.
There's so much illegal fireworks in
Okay.
California where I live. It's ridiculous. Man.
Really?
You just see fireworks everywhere. It's completely changed just in like the last 10 years. Like 10 years ago, you'd rarely see illegal fireworks. Now, everywhere, everybody
Really?
has them. It's
Oh my
unbelievable.
God. That's probably why you have these kind of like the woods burning, right?
Yeah. I mean, sometimes like people will actually, you'll see a lot of elderly people. They go outside whenever it's 4th of July or New Year's or something, and they water their roof. Like they spray their roof with
Wow.
water so their
Wow.
roof doesn't catch on fire by somebody's like bottle rocket.
That's crazy. Wow. But what's also crazy that your roofs are made of wood.
Some of them.
Okay. So in the UK, you still have like all the fireworks going. It was the same like always?
Yeah, we don't really do fireworks that much. I think it's actually, I say that this year there's loads for some reason, but I think it's becoming more of a thing every year. We tend to copy the US quite a lot anyway. I think there was a lot going off. Even at like 1 o'clock in the morning, I could hear fireworks and stuff. But generally speaking,
you were
you
you were celebrating your independence from us Europeans.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, we won't go into that. Definitely not. No, it's a sad day in my opinion, but we won't go into that one.
Right. Oh, for Germany, it's great. I mean, basically, we are the strongest in Europe now, and we didn't even have to start a war. It's pretty amazing. You handed it to us. Thank you, man.
After all the work we did, and
exactly. Now we just have to sit back and relax. Very nice. Okay, good. I think that's enough for the non-VR talk now. And I think we can get into virtual reality. So, last week we did not have a show because of Christmas. It was Boxing Day, and so we thought like, okay, we're not going to make a show, but so we're back. And we missed one big topic, and the big topic last week would have been the Microsoft Flight Simulator is now ready for virtual reality, and it happened like I think on 22nd or 23rd of December. Like it was an early Christmas present for the simming community, and yeah, so. How is it? How is it, dear Steve?
Oh, that's just it's a massive question to ask, and I really need to make sure that I don't spend too long answering that one. So just tell me to shut up if I go, if I just talk too much. But I won't anyway.
I'm going to interrupt you with funny questions.
Please do. Always do that. But, I mean, really, I just thought, how am I going to answer this? Because I knew you'd ask me, and I thought, well, I suppose I can sort of pin it down to three kind of like, points really that I can really briefly just go over. Otherwise, as I say, I'll be talking too much. But I just want to talk about the core VR experience. What is it like when you put that headset on and you're in that plane? What is it like? And I was trying to think of a way to describe it. And I actually said this in one of my videos, like, how can I describe it? And I think best way I can say is it's brain tricking real, honestly.
Wow.
At times.
Okay.
It's I've obviously done a lot of flight simming. I'm such a geeky flight simmer. I've done it for years and years, and I've done VR flying sort of sims for about 4 years now. And this experience is the best that I've ever come across, without a doubt, for its core VR implementation. And I think I was trying to think, what is it about this?
Is it better than sex?
Not quite, but it's close. It's close.
Okay.
Maybe not, actually, no.
Sex could have so many levels of quality, though. Like,
yeah,
exactly.
Right. You're right. You're right.
Bad sex can be kind of lame.
Bad sex can be terrible. Exactly. I mean, like super bad. Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, you've totally lost my plot now. You said that, but like, if you compare it to other sims out there, like, I think what it is that makes it so realistic, it's the lighting engine, and the sort of, dare I call it, next generation sort of graphics interface, and the way that they put together the atmosphere, the weather, when you're flying through like the clouds and you sort of, in that environment, that whole atmosphere together in VR, it's just amazing. It really is. It's incredible. And it's funny because I've been quite lucky even during lockdown. Like, we've had a few breaks where I've actually done some real flying recently, and I flew in a Cessna 172 over Lady Bower and all around Derbyshire, which is sort of my local area. And I thought, I got back home that evening and I'm going to try this again in the sim. And this sounds crazy, right? I know it sounds crazy, but I actually, at one point, you know how memories can be so powerful that you can smell certain things. You know, you actually get that sense of smelling where you were during that memory. I actually could, I could smell the aircraft, the leather seat. It suddenly came up, and I thought, oh my god, I'm sure I just smelt the aircraft then, because it was that real. I could look around in the G2, seeing all of that sort of the seats and everything in the panel, and I just thought, oh my god, I'm actually here. For a second, I was like, wow, that's just. And that's what VR is all about, isn't it? Really,
Wow.
you know, actually.
Wow, that's crazy, man. That's really good.
Yeah, it's so cool. So, I mean, from that standpoint, it is ridiculously immersive. It really is. But there's a lot of bad things as well. It's not all good.
Okay, let's first of all focus on the good things first, and let's get to the bad points later. So first of all, you are flying yourself in real life?
Yes.
Wow.
I'm not a pilot, although I'm very lucky. I've got a few friends who fly, and they let me fly the aircraft. And I am sort of thinking about doing, you know, a bit of actual do the training because it would be cool to do it. But yeah, I've landed a few Cessnas with you know, with obviously my pilot friend in, you know, making sure I'm doing it right. Otherwise, he'd grab the controls.
You landed a Cessna? Well, man, that's amazing. But you don't have the license actually?
No, I know.
Wow, that is cool, man. I like it.
Yeah, it's cool. So it kind of gives me an idea of sort of what it should feel like. You know, I'm certainly no pilot, so I'm not. You know, I'll never profess to be. There's a lot of more knowledgeable people out there in terms of sort of how the physics of flying all work and everything. But in terms of how it felt, and you know, doing that flight back to back, I think was the real turning point for me. That I thought, you know what, they've nailed this in terms of sort of how it feels in VR. It's just insane. It's amazing. Wow. Honestly, it really is. I think, if I'm honest, I think the Reverb G2 helped as well because the audio on that thing is just incredible, and obviously with the visual clarity you get from it, it really just put you there like nothing else. Yeah, absolutely.
Wow, that's fantastic. Cool. That sounds so great. And so tell us, how is it compared to the other flight sims, to X-Plane 11 or to Aerofly FS2?
Well, to be honest, if someone came up to me and said, you know, I want to get into flight sims and I don't really know much about it, I wouldn't recommend Microsoft Flight Sim. I'd actually recommend Aerofly FS2 because that sim in VR is so good on performance. It's so smooth. You know, you don't have to mess around with anything. You get straight into the cockpit and you're just flying, and it's really easy to get going. I would consider like X-Plane and Microsoft Flight Simulator as the heavyweights. You know, you have to spend time setting it up. And, you know, I was actually thinking of Tony during all the tweaking I've been doing, and I was thinking, you would hate this. You would absolutely just hate this. And I totally get it. A lot of people are going to have such a frustrating time with it because, you know, you cannot just install it, buy a VR headset from Argos or wherever you go, Best Buy, go, right, I'm going to put this on and try it. If you did that, you'd probably be really disappointed and you'd probably feel a bit sick because the frame rate won't be very good. So for that, I think some of the other sims are still really relevant. The Aerofly FS2, that runs at a solid, I mean, you can get 90 frames per second in that sim. And you can certainly get 60 frames per second. And it's so smooth that, you know, that there is definitely a calling for other sims to still exist. It's not like this has completely swamped the market and it's just going to be the only sim to use from now on. I think, you know, I think it has its place. But the other sims, like X-Plane 11 as well, I think, which does VR better in terms of the motion controls, which I'll talk about in a minute, does it better. So it's not a complete washout. It's the best thing, and that's it. Job done. Okay. You know, kind of thing.
Okay. But talking about getting into the game, like I checked it for a moment. I didn't spend enough time, so I just looked.
If you tried it,
I just looked into it. And what I saw, there seemed to be quite a lot of tutorials, like where you, as a total beginner, it would kind of teach you a bit, right? For the Microsoft,
honest, I haven't looked at that.
Okay,
honest, which is really bad. But I think they have got a tutorial section how to fly the Cessna, and they're making that better. And I think that's really important for any newcomers. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, exactly. And what you just said before, like how tough it is to get into it. I think it's so true. Like also for X-Plane 11, if you put it on and then you start to play, you just start to play, and then you have like the G2 or another headset, or probably the G2. Yeah, it wouldn't click first, you know. I couldn't use it in VR because my controller, it would not accept the click.
Yeah,
Right?
well,
It's like,
that's
what?
just it.
It
There's
just
no
sucks.
motion controller support at all.
Yeah, I mean, but in X-Plane 11,
in X-Plane,
I was
sorry.
talking about X-Plane 11 now.
Sorry, yeah. The thing is with that is that actually at the moment it's Laminar need to do an update to get the Reverb G2 controllers compatible.
Right.
All of the controllers, they work really well in that sim, and I've got to say,
Okay.
X-Plane 11 for its VR sort of implementation is stellar.
Okay.
Because you've got the controller and you can use it. Unfortunately, at the moment, the G2 controllers, they're not compatible. But hopefully, any day now, Laminar are going to. They're aware of it needs fixing.
They need to do that. They absolutely need to do that.
Dragging
right?
their heels on it, if I'm honest. But hopefully, it'll be sorted very soon.
Okay.
That's it.
Yeah. So let's talk a bit more about Microsoft Flight Simulator. So what is good? So the graphics are good, you said, right? And like what else? Like the realism. If you fly above, you fly around London, and you can totally see everything. Or I can fly to my home and see it. I can see the MRTV headquarters if I fly around Dortmund.
Yeah, sure thing.
Really?
Yeah,
okay.
I don't want to just get hung up on just graphics, because it's not really just about the eye candy, even though it's incredible. It's just how it's implemented in the sim. I have longed for the day where I could fly, and over there's a huge, scary thunderstorm that I've got to, fly around. And over here, it's beautiful and clear. And if I go through that thunderstorm, I'm going to be in trouble. I'm going to have ice all over the windshield, and I'm going to, and to see that towering sort of weather system move across the sky in real time all across the world.
Wow.
I just think it's absolutely amazing. And then on top of that, you've got the terrain, which is the entire planet ortho imagery. So when you go on Google Maps or whatever, it's that level of detail down to about, I think, in terms of the zoom level, I think it's like zoom level 21 or 22, which basically means it's sort of incredibly crisp. You'll be able to see the car that was parked outside your house when that photograph was taken, even the color of it and everything, all over the world. I just think, and it's free. There's no subscription, and all this data is being, updated on a regular basis, and it's just £60. I just think that's incredible, isn't it?
That's really good.
We've got to a point now where we should be realizing, like, this is revolutionary, just in terms of how all this comes together. And then the flight model as well. People complain about the flight model, but at the moment, the default aircraft that come with it they're just a starting point. They really are just a starting point. When we get payware quality aircraft, which, by the way, for you guys, you might not know, but aircraft themselves can be up to £100 or more just to buy for the sim, but you're talking of absolute comprehensive, really study level aircraft that every switch, every knob, every procedure is modeled to the exact that you would expect in the real aircraft. That will come eventually, and this sim is just a foundation of what's to come in the future. And it's just, oh god, honestly, it's
you seem to be very happy about it.
Yeah, I'm very happy. Yeah, I spent 50 hours flying in it just in the beta, and I've literally flown every day since it's been released. It's just, it's an incredible experience. And I think we're very lucky to be alive during this sort of revolution of VR and flying. Honestly, it's brilliant.
Yeah, but what do you do? From where to where do you fly normally?
Well,
yeah.
I think this is a good thing, actually, because it's a good point. I think most people, once they've flown over their own house and they've done maybe a few tours, they'll be like, what do I do next? And it's for us flight simmers, we are quite happy doing the same routes, and every time, every flight is different. You'll have different weather. The artificial intelligence traffic, which is real traffic fed into the sim, is different every time as well. So you're going to get a 747 landing. Well, you won't anymore, actually. It's a bad example because they don't fly anymore.
Sorry, man. I just have to say thank you. Thank you so much to Eliza Ang, to my wife, who has just donated me 30 euros for beers. Woohoo! Thank you. Thank you, my darling. Yeah, that's why I married her. Now you know. She's the best wife ever. Thank you so much. And I know it's also for you, Eliza. I know we're going to drink those beers together.
So cool, right, Melissa? I know you're watching this. Could you just donate 20 quid?
Yeah, he also needs some beer. Thank you. Yeah. Sorry, man. I totally disturbed. I totally stopped you.
You need to stop me on this because I will literally just go off on one. So you need to stop just so I can calm down again because it's just so good. I'm honestly so passionate about it. So,
Wow. Wow.
Hey,
and thank
Steve.
you for 4 sec shark for €5. Love this enthusiasm. Yes, man. Thank you. More beers.
Appreciate it. He's a big supporter of my channel as well, so I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Steve, I was going to ask you, so which graphics card do you have, and like which HOTAS and stuff, or like what is all the equipment that you're using with this?
Great question.
Oh, yeah, good question actually. I'm only using a 1080 Ti card, and it's like the smallest little card you've ever seen in your life. It's like I think it's the Zotac Mini series, and it's got its tongue out. It's really working hard, but I've been tearing my hair out this last few weeks trying to get the optimum setting, and there's so many different ways you can angle this in terms of performance, and this sim is a nightmare on performance. It really is. It's a beast of a sim, and it's meant to last for the next 10 years, and I think people need to realize that you can't just push all those settings to ultra and then not everything will work. It won't. It'll be 10 frames per second and you'll just hate it. It'll be horrible. See it as it's going to be a fine wine. It's going to age and get better and better.
Just like us.
Yeah. Too right, yeah. But so it's one of those things that it needs tweaking. You're going to have to lower those graphics sliders because they're gonna hurt otherwise.
But it's still beautiful. But it's still beautiful with your 1080 Ti and your G2. It's still beautiful.
I always say this, right? Basically, if you run this sim on ultra with a monitor, a screen, it will look great. But if you run this sim on low to medium, but you're in VR, it will look way better than it would do on a monitor at ultra, if that makes sense, because you're inside the environment. You are there, inside the cockpit, and you're actually, when you're looking at Mont Blanc or Mount Everest, it's like, oh my God. It's exactly the 1-to-1 scale that the real thing would be, and it's just you're not thinking, oh, my graphics sliders are a little bit low. You're thinking, oh my God, I'm right here next to this mountain.
You're right.
What about the CPU? Is it CPU intensive? Like if somebody has kind of a weak sauce CPU, would they kind of need like one of the absolute best CPUs?
This sim demands the best hardware, full stop, to be honest, and. I always say, and this is quite frustrating, I think there's still a lot of work to be done in terms of their performance. I think VR has really shown actually the cracks and the holes within the performance of this sim, which is still in its infancy. And I think a CPU with a high clock is still important. I mean, I've got an 8600 i5 chip, Intel, and I'm overclocking that to 5 gigahertz, and it makes a huge difference from its stock clock speed. I think CPU power it's still very important, without a doubt.
Actually, I think for this game, it is even more important than your graphics cards. I heard because for this game, they didn't quite make it to be like multi-core, right? And
it's getting there.
They want to get there, but it's not like right now. And this is one of the problems.
Yeah, it's really frustrating, really, because I just know that this sim could run so much better. It's just that you need to sort of really spend some time with the optimizations of it, and it will get there. I mean, I think we'll get there eventually, but it's just at this stage right now, we just need to see where it's going, rather than we're not there yet, kind of thing. But
okay.
Yeah.
So, and are you running your G2 on 50% super sampling, or are you using it on 100% or probably 10%? Just to make it work.
10% rate to scale. Honestly, it runs at 90 frames per sec. I can't see anything.
Yeah. But you are in the airplane.
Yeah. Just feels like a fog. It's
you're flying through a fog. Yeah, makes sense.
Absolutely, yeah, totally. But I suppose the bad news is the Reverb G2 really suffers the most in this sim. It just does.
Of course.
And a lot of that is because of Steam VR and the fact that it's been the render scale slider in Steam VR has been wrong for the G1 for about a year or two, and we haven't all realized. I've been running Steam VR at half resolution of my Reverb G1 for years, thinking it's brilliant. This is the full res, but it wasn't. But the thing is, with Windows Mixed Reality, it's straight in with that 2K per eye a 2160 by 2160 display. So suddenly you put, oh yeah, it worked in X-Plane, it worked in DCS. I'm just going to put my render scale at 100. Oh my God, I'm getting 15 frames per second. This is rubbish. So you have to be aware of that. But I mean, there are some tweaks that I've come across that really help. And I now can run the Reverb G2 at full resolution pretty much. And it's so sharp and I'm getting decent frame rate. And I can go into that at some point if we got time. But
you can say it now. How you do
okay,
it?
well, there's a program that everybody needs to download called OpenXR. It's a Windows mixed reality development tool, and that is so imperative. Even if you're running Steam VR, if you bought it on Steam VR, you can change your runtime so that it runs in Windows mixed reality instead, because it runs so much better than Steam VR. It's actually quite a pig in that at the moment. I'll have loads of stutters, and I'll look that way and I'm still looking this way and I'll feel sick and it's horrible and it's like, oh, this is no. I think that's where some people are actually saying it doesn't work very well, because basically if you use the OpenXR developer app, there actually is a resolution scale slide. I'm looking at it now just to make sure I know what I'm talking about. And I'd recommend basically downscaling. There's a render, like in Steam VR when you can change the scale.
Yeah, right.
It's the same thing, but for Windows mixed reality users. This is a brand new thing. Honestly, Windows mixed reality, they've actually upgraded the core components that we've needed for so long in terms of actually be able to adjust the performance, and we now can change the resolution slider. If you take that back to 50%, okay, so 50% outside the sim, and then. Sorry, I'm going back to Skype again because I see you guys. If you take that back to 50% and then in the sim, keep that to 100%, you get a really sharp image. I mean, properly sharp. I was in in a business jet the other day and I was looking. It's so tiny text. I thought, there's no way I can read this, but now I can really clearly. Just by knocking down the OpenXR slider. It's very complicated stuff, and we might have to go back to this another time. But
you have a video about this on your channel?
I do. I explain it all on my channel. So if you want to check those videos out, that'd be great. And I'm going to update them. The more sort of tweaking I find out, because this thing is changing by the day. Literally, there's more performance tweaks coming out, and I think. Even in a week's time from now, there's going to be something amazing that we've found and thought, oh, that gives us an extra 10 frames per second or whatever. So,
perfect. So, So definitely all of you who are watching this and who are listening to this show, check out VR Flight Sim Guy on YouTube. You're going to find Steve's channel, and it's just perfect if you want to find the best settings for Microsoft Flight Simulator and in general, amazing content. This was a shameless plug for you, man.
Bless you. I appreciate that. I'll drink that.
Yeah. Okay, perfect.
Tea.
Yeah, great. So that's really cool. I'm also going to look forward actually to look into that game. But I have not yet spent so much time in flight sims in general. But I believe it must be amazing that you could actually learn flying from a VR game. I believe that you could really learn flying the Cessna, for example, right? Is it like this? Am I right?
Absolutely.
That's so cool.
The Royal Air Force are now using VR, and so is the US Air Force. I'm sure they're using the Reverb G2s as part of their program. Certain parts, I think it's the Navy or something. I can't remember what it is now, but yeah, there's a certain squadron that are using VR now.
Okay.
And I think the reason for that actually is just it's the perception, isn't it? Really, like. When I fly in real life, you're not your head's outside the cockpit. You're looking around for visual references. If you're on a sort of circuit and you're coming into land, you understand how high you are, and on a flat screen, my landings are terrible when I'm trying to fly with a monitor. It's really bad because I don't really know how far I am from the ground, and it's just that you don't really have that situational awareness. But in VR, of course. That's its biggest sort of huge positive, that you can look around, you can look for other traffic. Say for DCS and combat sims, I was flying the Spitfire the other day, by the way, and I was in a World War II crazy battle with some 109s, and I was looking out and I was seeing this 109, and I wasn't looking at the instruments, I was looking at the plane and bringing the plane around to it. You can't do that on a flat screen. You just don't have that ability. So that translates hugely into the real thing. Massive, yeah, definitely.
Great. Okay. So in general, you are very happy about the Microsoft Flight Simulator, and you would say you do not need a 3090 to enjoy this.
I would actually, I wouldn't recommend a 3090 actually. In fact, I wouldn't recommend buying a card right now. I'd recommend waiting for the 3080 Ti card, which I believe isn't out yet. I don't think. I might be wrong.
It's not out yet, no.
Because this sim needs VRAM. It needs lots of memory because of all those textures. So you know you need lots of memory. That's the one I'm going to go for anyway. The 3090 card is amazing, of course.
It does have lots of memory, the 3090, but you need lots of dough.
It's just the cost just outweighs the performance gains.
Exactly,
You know,
it doesn't make sense.
People still getting 30 frames per second with a 3090 card. I mean, if I bought a card that expensive, I'd want it to run perfect, and it just isn't right now. So I just don't think it's a good idea.
But anyways, it's great to hear that there are some kind of hacks, just like what you said, like about the OpenXR stuff, and I'm totally going to check this out thanks to your videos.
Yeah, no worries.
Right.
It's just basically just a period of just trying some things and then going back and just tweaking really. And us flight simmers, we like to tweak, we like to mess around, and it's part of the fun, I suppose, is pushing our PCs to the max, pushing what's possible in VR as well to the maximum, really.
Got it. So Steve, tell us, what are the bad things about Microsoft Flight Simulator? So you said there are some bad things that you don't like. So what is it?
Yeah.
Like you can't really use your controllers. I think that's for me that was kind of a downer.
I mean, some people don't really mind it, but I just think once you've used a motion controller, you can't go back really. And I don't even mean flying with a motion controller. I mean using all of the, like say in a huge sort of airliner, you've got the overhead panel, haven't you? You've got all the switches and stuff. And part of the VR experience is being there and reaching exactly where that button will be. And like, I need to switch my landing lights on. I need to press something. I need to go, the FMS is usually right down here. So you're doing this. So you're active. You're moving around the cockpit. So actually that, and in terms of the real life flying, you remember where things are in the real plane because you are moving to wherever it is. So, and each aircraft is completely different, of course. So a Spitfire is going to be different from a Cessna, and a Cessna is going to be different from an airline, obviously. So each aircraft has its own bespoke feeling of being there. Now, without that controller support, you're just using a mouse, and it ruins the immersion. It
That's
totally
so funny
does for me.
So you're sitting in that airplane with your G2 or with your Rift S on, and then you have to use the mouse.
A mouse, yeah.
No,
it's wrong.
That's so bad. That's wrong.
I just honestly, it's such a shame.
Oh, that's bad.
I mean, I don't want to be too down on it because Asobo, which are the team that put this together, actually, when they first, because quite a few of the flight sim community went to go and see VR, and can I mention a channel name? Actually, I'd like to mention Balgeode channel and Bam. I think Bambino Tech. These two guys are huge VR YouTubers, and the VR pilot as well. I think he's actually in the chat now. So these guys actually, some of them went to Microsoft Flight Simulator and to preview it, and the first thing they said is, "How's the VR? How's it going?" And they're like, "What? We're not going to put VR in this sim." Are you serious?
What? It's ridiculous.
A flight exactly. Release a flight sim in 2020 without VR. That's
ridiculous.
That's the worst. That's not good. It's not good at all. So I think really it's a bit of a rush job, if I'm honest. They've done a great job, but it's not finished yet. And I really do think that motion controllers is the big elephant in the room for me. There's a few other things, but I think that's the big deal here for me. They need to get that sorted out.
Got it.
Do you think eventually they'll have flight sims where you have hand tracking combined with like a physical HOTAS that is also tracked? So your hand on top of and it's all tracked. And then the other question I have too is there anybody like super crazy with it where they actually create like Cessna, like all the switches and everything, and somehow have that connected where it's like you flick a physical switch and and then if you had hand tracking with that as well, that seems like the ultimate immersion. And then go one step further, go to a VR arcade and have all the motion sensors and all that. So you're like moving around at the same time. I mean, I don't know. It probably costs like $25,000 to create
And then go
incredible
one step
thing
further
like
and get your actual pilot's license.
Yeah,
It's
just
like-
do the real thing, guys.
yeah. I think, honestly, I mean, I'm a proper aviation geek, but I'm on the scale, like I'm probably like 2 or 3 out of 10. Like, because there's some guys that have got their own basement or whatever they've got with a full like airliner cockpit. And I guess once you've got yourself centered, everything that you will touch will be exactly where it is in the real thing, so long as the scaling's correct. But there is Aerofly FS2 that has not really hand tracking as such, but you see your hand and you can actually grab the controller with it and use the stick, and you can flick switches. The Rift S controller works really well with this. In fact, even the Reverb controllers do. And you can like brush your hand over the switches, and it's and you get a little
That's
haptic
great
feedback. And that's a really old sim now, and it's doing things far better, above its time in some ways, really. And that's where I think this is what I mean about other sims. They still have a firm place for as flight sim is for VR. It's not, Microsoft Flight Simulator is fantastic, and the immersion, the feeling of being there is better. But then it falls down quickly when you think about how VR has been implemented in it, and there's ways to go with it at the moment, anyway.
Right. Actually, for this kind of idea where like your hands are tracked in virtual reality and then you can flick the switches, I heard something like this a year ago, or probably is it already 2 years ago, when there was this Leap Motion was still a big thing.
Yeah,
there was a game where you could actually flip the switches for a flight sim.
Funny enough, this has been around for a lot longer than people
really?
realise.
Okay,
yeah,
okay.
There was a program, and I can't remember the name of it now, that used to be a thing you'd buy. And actually, it would interject VR into sims that didn't have VR support. What was it called? Anyone in the chat could remember the name of it? Oh, how annoying. And that had Leap Motion technology.
Okay.
Now, I mean, it wasn't actually, you'd still need a controller for it, but you could then flip the switches and you could like pinch your fingers together, then turn the dials. And that's just so cool. I
think that's where we're going. It should be. Yeah. It should be a reality. I mean, like now the Quest 2 already has like great hand tracking. It's just the next step to really use it, right? So Tony, I would like to ask you: are you into flight sims, or have you tried one, or would you become one, or is your patience just like my patience? Okay, it has to go now. It has to work now.
Yeah, I'm kind of like, the thing is, there's so many games that are constantly coming that.
Fly inside.
For me personally, I really like Fallout 4 VR, and I would just spend 4 months playing Fallout 4 VR. But I can't do that because there's just so many games that are constantly coming out. So it's like, these games that absorb your entire life, like a No Man's Sky or Microsoft Flight, where you're going to really get into it. You're going to play it every day. You're going to play hours every day. I actually deliberately avoid these games just because I know that I can't invest that kind of time in it. I've never played Elite Dangerous. I've never played it because I just think I'm not going to invest like 4.5 hours just to learn how to play it when I just don't have time, man. So I stick with, but the flip side of that is you never get super deep with a game either. And so it's, there's two sides of the coin, and people that get super deep into a game where they're just dedicating all this time to a game, they see so many little subtle things that you'd never see on the surface when you're just like skimming it. And so, there's two different ways to play games, kind of.
Totally agreed. And yeah, I'm the same. I don't simply have the time to spend like 10 hours just to understand the game and to be able to play the game. But I'm sure once you are there, it must be amazing, right? Some deeper games, they will need this kind of time. Yeah, just like Elite Dangerous, exactly. You just need the time to really grasp it. But then,
Steve, just a quick question. For a total noob, like somebody like me, never screwed with any flight simulator ever, do you think if I did get Microsoft Flight Simulator and I'm like, okay, I'm going to do this, how many days, how many hours do you think I would need to spend just to get up to speed barely?
Probably about 3 years. I think, to be honest, you're going to need some extra help, really, in terms of sort of setting it up. And you're going to be at a disadvantage because not only have you never flown or done flight sims, so you've got that learning curve of learning to fly. You've also got the massive learning curve of actually getting it all set up. So I actually wouldn't recommend Microsoft Flight Simulator, actually. And I'm surprised I'm saying this, really.
So
but
what would
honestly,
you recommend?
Aerofly FS2,
Okay.
definitely. Yeah, it's a fantastic sim. It's really easy. You can get up within a few minutes, and suddenly the immersion's good enough, and of course the performance is so good that even a 1070 card or even lower spec PCs can handle it really well. You'll be in the cockpit, and maybe once you've tried that, and it's on Steam, it's often on sale for about £25 or something. Once you spend a bit of time with it, then you'll know whether you want to continue with it, if you want to commit to it. And I think at that point, it would be a good idea to maybe. And then, I just think at the moment, with the way Microsoft Flight Simulator hasn't even been released that long, I just think they're still finding their feet with it, and it's just not ready for people who are new to the genre. That's tough. That's me. That's bad me saying that, really. But I just feel, honestly, Aerofly FS2 is the better sim for people who are starting out, because you need to have that thirst to enjoy it, and your first impressions of any game, they stay, don't they? And if you're going to load it up and have a horrible time, you're not going to go back to it, and you'll have this stigma attached to it, whatever, So I think, yeah.
Okay. Good. So probably start with this first, Tony. Aerofly. So we have
someone in the comments.
Exactly.
Sorry,
I just want to get to this question. I think Jose de Gueva, right? Could you ask Steve if he doesn't feel that the planes are off scale, too tiny? For example, the Cessna 152. Is it the question that you want to answer?
It's a very good question, actually. Yes, I actually feel that some of the aircraft are really small, actually, and that's one thing I noticed. The 152 is bizarrely small. So some of the scaling is a bit wrong. And I think that's not helping the resolution, because some of the dials are way smaller than they are in the real thing. Some of the third-party planes, like Carinado, the Ovation, that's really nice. That's perfect. And the 172, actually, I think that's probably about right. But it's not like I fly it every day, so I can't really say for certain. But there's definitely a bit of an issue with some of the scaling and some of the aircraft. Definitely, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's interesting to know. Strange. All right, cool. We've spent the first 50 minutes on Microsoft Flight Simulator.
No.
Yes, we have. Yes, unbelievable.
I'm so sorry.
No, that's okay. It's a topic that lots of people find interesting, and I think especially for virtual reality, that's just the perfect use case for VR, right? To sit in that thing and to fly. Oh, that's cool. Great. Is there any last word that you have for Microsoft Flight Simulator, dear Steve?
Just to say, someone in the comment, a few people are saying VTOL VR. That's another great sim, guys. Honestly, in fact, I'd recommend that, Tony, over Aerofly FS2, because you'd love that, because it's just fun. The emphasis is on having a laugh and fun, and just the feeling of flight. That's the important thing. And the feeling of flight in Microsoft Flight Simulator, just to go back to that to wrap this up, it is amazing. I mean, at the end of the day, Microsoft Flight Simulator, where it's going, excites me like no other sim. There is some work to do, but honestly, if you want the most ultimate experience of flying a general aviation aircraft and just experiencing what it's like to fly through different weather, the atmosphere, do a world tour. I mean, in these COVID times we're living in, it's a great way to travel. And you look down and you see cities. Like I was flying around Strasbourg the other day. And it's a photogrammic city, so it's all 3D. So it's exactly how it should look. And it's like that for not the photogrammetry, but the detail is there for the entire world. What they're doing, it's never been done before. It's groundbreaking, and anything groundbreaking and pushing the boundaries is going to have teething problems. And that's exactly what this is. But when it's all said and done, it's absolutely friggin' awesome. It's brain tricking real.
Wow.
brain tricking real.
Okay. And it's better than bad sex. That's what we learned.
That's great. That should be their slogan. I'm going to email them.
Yeah. Microsoft Flight Simulator, better than bad sex. Yeah, perfect. We found it out during the third episode of the Next Dimension podcast. That's amazing.
That is brilliant.
That is brilliant, indeed.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Perfect. So this is the first topic was Microsoft Flight Simulator. And now we're getting to the big topic of the show today. It's like we look back at 2020. We're looking back at the best VR games, and we're looking back at the back at the best VR hardware. And now, since we're more people than in the very beginning of the show, this show is also all about giving you the power to vote and to join this podcast. So you can vote now. What is your favorite VR game of 2020? Check out the link down in the description of this video. And also, you can choose what is your favorite VR hardware of 2020. Please cast your vote now during the show. At the end of the show, I'm not going to forget this time to tell you the results of these polls, and that's how you can join this podcast, next to, of course, being in the chat and putting your questions here. Yeah, cool. So now, what do you guys want to start with? Do you want to start with the games, or do you want to start with the hardware?
Well, we just talked about games, so a game, kind of. So maybe we should switch to hardware.
Okay, I like it. So this year, last year, we are in 2021 now. Yes, good that we are in 2021. Last year, we had a few new VR headsets. We had the Oculus Quest 2, and I must honestly tell you, I was surprised. I was really surprised. Very seldom did it happen in the world of technology that we have a successor to a hardware, to a new headset so fast. The Quest 1 was just on the horizon, was just like launched the year before, basically, right? And it was like
not even a year.
It was like it was a bit longer. I think it was released in May 2018,
or just barely over a year,
I believe.
Wow, I never knew it was that short of a distance.
No, 2019. It was 2019. May 2019, the Quest 1 launched. Exactly. And then this year, October 13th, so a bit over a year. Only a bit over a year, and then we had the
not
Quest 2.
a year and a half.
Yeah,
That's
you're
what I
right.
meant.
You're right.
Less than a year and a half.
Less than a year and a half.
Pretty crazy.
Oh my goodness, really? I couldn't believe it. And when the first rumors went out, I was so sure, okay, this is simply going to be like a Quest Lite. I was so sure. I was here like making a live show, and I was telling the world, you know, guys, this is going to be a $199 Quest, with exactly the same stuff, but everything just like a bit cheaper, and simply like a light version of the Quest. And then, no, it has the XR2 chipset. Oh my God. And then the VR world totally went crazy. So how was your perception of the Quest 2, Tony? What did you think? When we first heard about it, like the first rumors, did you also think this is going to be a Quest Lite for $199? Or what did you think at that time?
Yeah, well, see, the weird thing is, I thought it was either going to be a Quest Lite, like what we're talking about here, or maybe Facebook would shock it and it would really be like this Quest 2. But the thing is, I got to be honest, it kind of is a Quest Lite, really. Okay, so the XR2 Snapdragon is thrown in there, but
nobody's using it.
There's
right?
there's no game-changing tech. There's no like eye tracking. There's no like scene recognition. We don't have like full color pass through. There's a lot of things that this thing does. Like the only thing it did was it threw that Snapdragon in there, that XR2, and that is huge. I'm not trying to downplay that, but other than that, it's a Quest. But I think it's what I was really blown away by is just the combination of the price and just the overall package that they're delivering. It's like, get out of Dodge, man. There's no one that can compete with this. I don't know how any other company comes in now. That they ruined it for everybody. It's kind of crazy.
So true.
Right. What did you think, Steve, about the Quest 2? Like when it was announced, or the time before it was announced? Did you follow that? Or were you just flying around the world in your Rift S, like totally enjoying it? Like shut up! I'm just here in the Rift S. I just love it here.
No, I mean, I've got this like love-hate relationship with the Quest 2. In fact, I nearly bought one the other day, and I still might buy one, but I don't know. It's one of those things that they really have cornered the market, haven't they? Really, and there's not really much movement for anybody else. But I mean, when it was, I don't know. I think I'm warming to the idea of the Quest 2 a bit more than I was before, I think. But in terms of what Tony was saying, it's actually interesting. If it was, because I don't really know a lot about it, but that XR chipset, that was obviously its selling point. But I guess for was it £200 now or something crazy?
No, it's £299. I think
£300.
Yes,
Yeah,
right.
I just think that's exceptional value for money, even with the technology that it has in it now. How is anyone else going to compete? It's kind of
tough.
I don't think it's a good thing.
I think that's
Probably.
their plan. I think that is their evil plan. They don't want others to compete. Yeah,
it is unfair.
It is.
Yeah, exactly. Because they can do this, can't they? They're huge. And
yeah, right. I mean, we spent the whole last show talking about this, right, with Guy Godin. So that was an interesting episode. If you want to know more about like what Facebook is doing, check out episode 2 of the Next Dimension podcast, where we talked with the maker of Virtual Desktop about the whole Facebook thing. Yeah, so I was just thinking that Facebook did a phenomenal job, like for themselves, right? They totally are out there. Of course, obviously, they are a company who wants to win over the whole market. Why not? That's what companies want to do. They want to dominate, right? We are living in capitalism. I'm not here to just play. I want to dominate. I want to win this. And Facebook is just out there playing to win. And I think they've done a phenomenal job doing that. If you just think about the whole strategy, everything was planned so perfectly, right? So first of all, they tell us, yes, we have something new coming up, and you have to use your Facebook account. Oh no! Right? Like the people were like, oh, it's bad, it's so terrible. Like, on YouTube, people were like making videos about it and getting.
If it wasn't for that, maybe it would be even more popular.
Yeah, of course. I want to get to this, right? So there was the big outcry, oh, I'm never going to use the Quest 2 because we're being forced with Facebook and stuff. And yeah, so there was this kind of outcry. And then I think 3 weeks later, they have the Facebook Connect and they tell the world about the Quest 2, which is only $299 and has the XR2 chipset. Okay, forget whatever I said 3 weeks ago. I'm buying that shit. That was basically what lots of people were how they were acting, right? Honestly, people forgot about the Facebook forced login, really. Once they heard it has the XR2 chipset, they forgot it. And it was just like the pure hype. It was just like, wow, it's cheap, it's good, it must be amazing. And yeah, Facebook has done an amazing job with it, really. Unbelievable. Like, they have planned everything perfectly, right? Like the base model for $299, it is super cheap. It has amazing value. It is a nice headset, right? You have amazing games in there. All the games that you want to play, Beat Saber and everything, it's there. And then if you want more, okay, then you have to buy the link cable, right? You have to buy the Elite strap for another $129 with the battery, right? Because you want to have the battery to have like 4 hours. And then you get to that $400 price range, $500 price range. And then it's not so cheap anymore, but people don't feel it. It's genius. No, honestly, guys, I really think they are doing like an unbelievable job here. Wouldn't you agree to that?
Yeah, and also the other aspect too is like lots of people that watch our shows are like hardcore PC VR players, and they've played all these games for years and years. And so a lot of the games that are on Quest, they're kind of bored of them. But if you're a new person to VR, the library that they have for the Quest is ridiculous. It is hit after hit, and they're dialed in. They work well. There's no problems. There's no hiccups. You put the thing on, you're using it, you're in games, you're out of games. Everything is so seamless. The friction has really been reduced dramatically. So people underestimate that aspect of it, that amazing library of back catalog that they have that isn't for us. It's not for us. It's for the new people.
Yeah, but the new people, really. I mean, if somebody new is asking me, hey, Sebastian, I want to get into VR, I would be crazy to tell him to go for an Index or a G2. Because it's complicated.
So
okay, you first have to buy a gaming PC, but better get one with a 3080 or a 3070. Oh, but wait, it's tough to get it. You're like, what? Like I've lost them at this moment already, right?
Yeah.
And then okay, you have to spend like $1,000 for the gaming PC, but it's not so easy to get all the components right now. And then you have to put up your base stations if you go for the Index, right? And you have
Tell
to
your children as well.
find a new good place for the base stations. Or if you go for the G2, you have to be very careful because the lighting is so important for the tracking to work well. Right? Like what the fuck? Honestly, I cannot recommend anything else than the Quest 2 to newcomers. It's crazy. There's absolutely no competition. And, like I have this relationship with Facebook where I don't like them in terms of what they're doing as a company. And it doesn't feel great because now I have to recommend the Quest 2. And there's always this, but unfortunately, it's only so cheap because it's like subsidized with your privacy, with your data, right? In the future, there's going to be ads and they are analyzing everything that you can do, right? Your movements and where you look at. It always comes now with this but. VR, for me now, comes with this big but. And that's for me personally, I must say, I'm a bit sad about this but. In general, I'm not sad about buts, but here but for this, in this moment, I am a bit sad about this. Do you feel the same or you're not caring about it?
For me, if I wasn't into flight simulations so crazy, I was a VR gamer, oh my God, I'd probably go for a Quest 2. I really would. I mean, I just think maybe if the Quest 3 had a way to hardwire into an HDMI port on the back of your computer rather than this with link cable, if they did that, I'd be on board then. I really would. And I hate to say it, but I would.
Right.
Because it's the link cable is the issue for me. Like you're still losing so much. The compression it makes everything quite pixelated.
But actually now with the V23 software, they kind of get it down now. I must really say it feels like a good VR headset right now, even for PC VR with that V23 software. It's pretty cool. It's nice, and you can also use virtual desktop, right? The wireless version. It just costs you $20. Don't even have to buy the $80 link cable. Yeah, it's like wow. It's like there's so much value in that device. It's crazy, right, Tony? What do you say? Did you buy it? You have it?
Yeah. The Quest 2. Did I buy it?
The Quest 2, yeah.
Yeah,
of course.
absolutely. Right away. And on my Quest 2, I have the deluxe audio strap, which honestly, my personal opinion, that is the way to go. It is the perfect marriage. The deluxe audio strap with a Quest 2, because the Quest 2, it's only 10% lighter, which that doesn't seem like much of a difference.
Right.
But it really is a difference because I had my deluxe audio strap on my regular Quest 1, and there's definitely a difference now. The deluxe audio strap combined with that reduction in weight, it's almost like I don't really feel it very much at all, and that has changed the game for me. So,
wow! So you totally friggin' love the Quest 2.
I mean, other than the Facebook drama of all that, yeah, absolutely. And regarding the Facebook drama, watch episode 2. That's all we talked about.
You're right. You're right. Exactly. We don't have to do the whole show again. Watch episode 2 of the podcast, and then you will know everything. Yeah. Wow. So Quest 2. They did an amazing job, I must say. Even I must admit it, right? Even though I really care about the Facebook privacy issues, absolutely. But again, they have done a really good job, a genius job, I must say. It nearly feels like an Apple product now in terms of how seamless it is, how well designed it is. Like the unboxing, everything works together. You don't have to worry about any kind of compatibility issues, right? And that's
I do love the idea of just buying a game and then putting my headset on and then
playing it. Just playing the game, playing the game that you bought. Yeah. Like how amazing is that?
Honestly, it's
pretty
quite
good.
Nice, less stressful. Yeah,
less stressful
Steve,
to play.
You got your man cave right with your high-end PC setup. So it's like, why do you really need a Quest 2? But if you ever go on vacation, if you ever go to a cabin, if you ever go camping, you could you might be able to use a Quest 2 if you have, the right lighting, kind of overcast. You could be outdoors with it. So it's great for that. Like if you travel a lot, the Quest 2 can travel with you and give you an outstanding VR experience where you're up and running like bam, within a couple of minutes. You just draw out your line, boom, you're instantly up and playing. It's amazing.
It's fantastic. It's really, really good. And the thing is, it is even going to get better because that's what we saw with the Quest 1. They have simply improved it via software from month to month. Always new stuff coming. You know, can you remember at one point suddenly it had like the hand tracking, which worked really, really nicely. And I'm just telling you guys, but you know that yourselves, it's going to get better because at one moment in time, they are going to use the power of the XR2 chipset. Right now, they're not doing it because there's just too many people out there who still have the Quest 1 and who would feel very betrayed if now the games would come out which only would have like Quest 2 compatibility. Compatibility, you know, compatibility, that's a freaking hard word for a German guy to say.
Compatibility. It's like
compatibility. It's a complicated word.
That's nice.
So, yeah, for you. Next time we do the show in German language. So
got German beer, by the way.
Yeah, German beer. That's good. Good. Very nice.
Isn't it good or not?
Yeah, so it's going to get better. I'm just thinking what's going to happen if Lone Echo 2 comes out and it's a Quest 2 game. Wow. Mind's blown. I believe that the people who still have the Quest 1, they're going to sell it for the Quest 2, and then, it's going to be incredible. Tony, do you think Lone Echo 2 is going to be a Quest 2 game?
Well, here's what I will say. This idea of this XR2 chip, and then like, when are we going to get into this problem? Like, when is this problem going to happen where we have certain games that, it doesn't work on that one, and then you get into a whole new world, right? We don't have that yet. We actually do have that with Rec Room. There is a couple of experiences in Rec Room, I believe, that require a Quest 2. They do not work on the Quest 1.
Really?
Also,
Okay.
yeah, there at least one experience that does that. Also, Medal of Honor Above and Beyond is in development for the Quest, but it's like an exploratory development. So they're trying to figure out, can they get this game working on the Quest? And there's a possibility that they can get it working on the Quest 2, but that trying to get it working on the Quest 1 is just like, it's not going to happen. And then Lone Echo 2. So yeah, the question is, are we going to get to a point where we are going to have exclusive things that are on Quest 2 that just simply don't work on Quest 1? And how does that transition work? How butthurt are people that have a Quest 1? You know, are they able to like smooth it over? Is it seamless, or are people like really up in arms about it? It's going to be interesting to see how that plays out.
I think so too, Tony. It's going to be interesting, but I honestly think that Facebook is going to give a shit, just like they gave a shit about the Rift S owners. I mean, how unhappy must the Rift S owners be, right? They have been neglected for years now, right? When the Quest 1 got hand tracking, they were saying like, yeah, but we could also get hand tracking. We also have the cameras, right? No, you're not getting it. You dirty Rift S owners. No,
it's so true.
No, really. Like they won't give a shit about those Rift Quest 1 owners. They will give the Quest 1 owners a good reason to sell that old useless device and finally get a Quest 2. That's for sure. So I think
even like 6 months, say before when the Rift S was released, maybe even 6 months, say if you fast forward to that, maybe 6-7 months time, I don't think they would have released it. I think it was that close of a call for them. I think,
it's a very, very close call. Yeah. So I don't think they're going to care so much about these few 100,000 who have the Quest 1 when the Quest 2 is so cheap and the Quest 1 owners can sell the Quest 1 for, I don't know, $150 and then simply pay the rest and get the Quest 2. I think that's going to happen. And I still believe Lone Echo 2 is going to be a Quest 2 exclusive, and it will make so many people jump into that kind of Quest ecosystem. Those who don't do this yet because they have a Rift S and they can still play most games in the Rift shop, right?
Sebastian, you're saying that Lone Echo 2 will not be on the Oculus Rift store?
Yeah,
like you won't even be able to buy it on the Rift store?
Just like the Star Wars Edge of the Galaxy. That's what I'm saying.
That's bad news. That is truly bad news.
That's what I believe, because they're going so much away from that Rift store, right? You couldn't play this Star Wars Tales of Galaxy's Edge. You couldn't play it. You had to have Quest. And it's obviously going into this direction that the Quest store is where it's at, right? So Medal of Honor was one of the last games, probably one of the last big games that you could get there. But yeah, I don't think, no. I think Lone Echo 2 is going to be a Quest 2 game. That's what I'm thinking. That's what I'm thinking.
Is that the start of the demise of the PC VR game?
That's for sure.
Much.
Oh man, that's in general. It's also what we talked about in episode 2. So yeah, episode 2 was good. So definitely, it's going away from PC VR and it's going into Quest. Everything's on Quest. That's a really interesting thing that happened in 2020, right? The shift away from PC VR to Quest. And we also saw that when Onward was released for the Quest, and then suddenly the PC VR version of Onward looked like complete garbage because they wanted to make it compatible, and they redid the whole PC version, and it was so bad.
In the same year, though, Half-Life Alyx, the biggest PC-based VR game that's ever been,
right,
was also released. So that's a big win for the PC crowd.
Yeah, right. But we're going to talk about this in a moment.
Yeah.
So there was talk about the Quest 2. I believe a really amazing headset. Controversy playing around it as well because of the forced Facebook login, and everybody has to decide themselves if they are fine with it or not. So if you guys love the Quest 2 and think this was the best headset, the best VR hardware of the year 2020, do leave your vote. Again, the link to vote down in the description of this video. All right. Then I would say the big other headset that was introduced to the market in 2020 was the HP Reverb G2. And I was the only person who had it for months, and I was so proud showing it into the camera. Here it is, Reverb G2, and I made a gazillion videos about it. Of course I would, right? I'm the only person in the world to have it. Of course I make lots of videos about it, and So for all of you who don't know, the HP Reverb G2, it's the successor of the HP Reverb G1, which came out last year. It's a PC VR headset that you would connect to your gaming PC. Can you remember these big old things that you have to pay thousands of dollars for? This is a gaming PC. And so it's a Windows mixed reality headset, inside-out tracking. And the exciting part about the HP Reverb G2 is that it has a very high resolution, 2160 times 2160 pixels. It has super nice audio, just like the same speakers, headphones like the Valve Index. It has great comfort, and it has inside-out tracking, so you don't have to put up these base stations. And this all for a quite nice price of $599 US. So it's basically sitting between the Rift S, when it was still sold, and the Valve Index, which you can get for $999. And it's sitting in between those price-wise, but it has to offer quite a lot as compared to the Index in terms of the visuals and audio in terms of compared to the Rift S. So it's a really nice headset. So unfortunately, though, it really didn't have a good launch. Right? So people were pre-ordering the device, and HP said, okay, you need to pre-order this. You need to pre-order this. If you don't pre-order this, you're not going to get it in this year. You have to wait for next year, and the demand is crazy. And unfortunately, people had to wait super long. Now in December, quite a lot of people got it, but some are still waiting. And unfortunately, also, lots of people plugged the device in, hoped they could use it, but then it didn't work, right? Because there's so many compatibility issues. Here, I said the word.
Yeah, you got it.
I got it. Compatibility issues. And it didn't work, right? It didn't work for people who had the X570 motherboard, or it didn't work well with AMD graphics cards, and didn't work well on all USB ports. And overall, it was a big pain in the butt, I would say, that launch. Would you agree with me, Steve? What do you think about the G2 in general?
I think actually, I'm going to be a bit more positive about the PC VR scene. I think I think with Half-Life Alyx, of course, Microsoft Flight Simulator, and then HP Reverb G2, like the most amazing VR PC-based headset, all happened in the same year as the Quest 2. I think at the moment, I think it's going to be more interesting what happens this year, and it will pan out and see where the markets are going. But in terms of the Reverb G2, oh god, what a fantastic headset! But unfortunately, it's tainted by just this
tainted
really
love.
bad. It's tainted, yeah, it is by obviously HP's disaster of this pre-order business. I mean, it's just when people have been pre-ordering this for like 5 months and then some guy goes and clicks and gets the next day delivery.
Right.
It's so bad. And
sucks.
I was really upset about it, actually. I just couldn't believe it. And as I say, but I do think they was not expecting the demand to be so high. This is not an excuse for them, but I think we can look into this and think, well, actually, there is a demand for these high-end PC-based VR headsets. There still is.
But they could gauge the demand with the pre-orders. That was actually their plan. That's why they started the pre-order phase quite early in order to gauge the demand and then therefore like produce enough. So I don't think you can say like, oh, you know what, HP didn't know that.
No, I'm not
that this
saying
gonna happen.
that,
So
no,
yeah,
no.
so they did.
But
get...
I blame it on the YouTubers though, because all the VR YouTubers, like they really jumped on this whole G2, like as a new entry in the game, and so many people doing videos about it. It's like, yeah, HP probably was thinking, oh, we only need to make 20,000 of these things because we're not going to sell that many right away. But like the G2 became this thing that everybody heard about. Like you would be in different message boards places and people would be like, oh yeah, Valve Index or Quest 2. And then some people would be like, oh, what about the Reverb? It came in as that other option consistently. And so now it's out there. Like people know Reverb G2, Index, Quest 2. It's like 3 competitors are kind of the way it is. And that probably made it super difficult for HP.
Right. So what you're saying actually is that HP didn't understand the power of MRTV.
Yeah.
Right. Now they know. Yeah.
It's your fault, Sebastian.
It's my fault. Yeah. Right. I must admit it. Yeah. Right. So, but anyways, I still think they should understand like the demand after they have opened the pre-order phase, and then they knew, okay, wow, we need to make, I don't know how many 100,000 perhaps. I really don't know the numbers, right? So then they knew how many they would have to produce, and then they simply had to make these devices, the number of devices. So that's okay. The headset's out now, and then unfortunately, well, we had all these compatibility issues with those main boards and those new graphic cards. Are you laughing about my compatibility issues?
No, I'm not. No, because you're saying it more. I think because you're aware of it.
yeah, right. Now that I know how to say that, I'm saying it more. But well, then, yeah, that's then. Unfortunately, we have lots of new hardware in this year, right? I don't want to say that. Okay, everything is HP's fault. Really, no. It has also to do with some hardware probably not being exactly on the specs with the USB, right? Not exactly hitting the targets that they need to hit. And probably the HP Reverb G2 just being like really needing the exact specs to be honored for USB, for example, to be able to work perfectly. But then again, well, probably there should have been some play for the headset that you don't exactly need the specs to be met for USB, right? Yeah, I don't know. It's tough.
I think maybe they was a bit rubbish with their instructions. Just a simple little sheet that says you need to install the Windows Mixed Reality for Steam VR. Because that was a big problem. People didn't even know how to get it working. And just say you need a USB powered hub. They're so cheap. You can get one for like £10-15 or something. Mine was like about that price, and I've never had any issues with it. Funny enough, I thought I'm going to try it in my computer without that USB powered hub, and I got that weird 4-1 error.
I see.
It.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. So but it's bad that you need a powered USB hub to power your $599 headset.
Yeah, you're right.
That point is bad, I think. that sucks. So yeah, you know what? I can really understand that kind of like backlash and that kind of tainted feeling now. It's such a great headset. I still love it. For all the people who are wondering, hey, Sebastian, is it still your daily driver? Yeah, of course. Why would I use another headset which looks worse? It's so beautiful to play in the G2 when it works. Like, I was so lucky because when I got the device, when I was the first person ever on this planet Earth to have it, everything worked fine. It's worked so nicely on all my computers, right? It worked fantastic. I had the best ever VR experience. The Quest 2 was not out yet, right? So it was just like the best looking thing ever. And it still is the best looking thing ever. It's still an amazing headset and it's still my daily driver. But I totally get it that it's not like this for lots of people who can't get it to run because they don't have a USB powered up and they don't feel like paying another $20. They feel this should work out of the box, and I get them. So, but anyways, for the headset itself, I still think it is fantastic. It is so way better than the G1. It has the most beautiful graphics, the most beautiful picture that I ever saw in virtual reality. Amazing colors, great sound, great comfort. I'm also fine with the tracking, as you know, right? And the same for you, right, Steve?
Yeah,
it's
I've been
totally fine.
Yeah. Playing Half-Life Alyx and Medal of Honor quite a lot this last week, and it's just it works really well in just general gaming, unless you're flinging it around your head and trying to break the tracking.
Of course you can break the tracking.
Then you can, but you can with a Rift. I can break the tracking with a Rift S controller, let alone the G2 if I was a bit crazy with it. But for general gaming, down the sights,
it works fine.
It works really
fine, yeah. And you know what? I must honestly tell you, I was like really shocked by lots of my fellow YouTubers who were like making videos like showing how bad it is and it's like glitching all around and really honestly like misleading people with their tracking. I was really shocked, like, why? It's not like this. It's really not like this. I can also make a montage where I make the controllers like fly away all the time, right? If I simply like put on all my lights here, because unfortunately it is kind of dependent on your lights, right? But you simply have to, put your lights a bit down and not have direct sunlight, and you are going to get a really good experience with this.
This is weird though. Some headsets, it's like turn the lights down. Some headsets turn the lights up.
But Quest 2 just works no matter what lighting.
Yeah, you're right, and that part I also think is not good enough about the G2. You know, that you really need to do some research. Right? That you need to do some research. Okay, probably I should get a USB powered hub to make this run, and then also that you need to get the light a bit not so bright. You don't want direct sunlight, right? That you need to do some research. You cannot just plug it in and everything works out of the box like the Quest 2, right?
Yeah.
So,
I mean, every headset has a huge downside. Every headset has a gigantic Achilles heel. For the Quest 2, it's Facebook. And for G2, there's a lot of little things about it.
Yeah,
you know, but
right. Exactly. Yeah. So
I still think they like the G2. If you're just into simming, oh my god, it's an easy decision to make for flight simulation. Or if maybe you're just into VR experiences that bring a sense of sort of like realism. Maybe it's not too crazy games, like say just first person shooter games or the experiences in VR where you really need that incredible resolution and that color palette, which I don't know how they've done that with an LCD panel, but it really is beautiful, isn't it?
Here's the thing.
It is.
If you're a wealthy VR enthusiast, you might as well have a G2, right? Because then you can try certain experiences in your G2. You could have it as an extra headset. Maybe it isn't even your daily driver, but it's like I use my G2 when I'm going to experience The Bond or one of these like animated
adult
things
entertainment.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? Yeah, exactly.
That as well, yeah.
Yeah, if you really want to see everything super clear, you definitely want to have the the G2. Yeah, right. So, in my opinion, still, it's amazing hardware. It's great. And if we didn't have that bad launch, and if the headset still just worked for most of the people, we wouldn't have all this backlash that we have right now. And people would just be talking about how crisp and beautiful everything works and that it's a great headset. So, unfortunately, I have to say, I personally think that HP had a bad launch. It's tainted because of that, and there are lots of unforced errors. Like, for example, the thing about people could simply buy it off the HP website and got it the next day, while others were pre-ordering this for like 4 months, giving them already the money and like a free credit, right, without getting anything back for it and not receiving the headset. And yeah, that's unfortunate because the headset itself is pretty amazing. And in general, about all these headsets, I've said that I think in every episode now of this podcast, I think we as a VR community, we should not become this Android versus iPhone, this PC versus Mac. You know, this kind of like, okay, we just like one kind of headset. I just like the Quest 2 or anything Oculus makes and everything else is shit. Or I just like what, I don't know, another headset manufacturer does and all the other things are shit. I still think we are so early that we should simply enjoy all the headsets that are out there and see what they bring to the table. Right? For the G2, wow, it is just amazing how good everything looks. So yeah, this is like for people who want the best visuals, go for the G2. If you want to have like a bigger FOV, okay, all right, there's an option for you too. It's the Index, the Valve Index, or the Pimax headsets even, right? And if you want to have like a great device, which is super streamlined, which you can simply put on and everything works, go for the Quest 2. So I think actually we are in a beautiful situation right now with the choices that we have. Would you agree to that?
Yeah, I mean, I have a Rift S and a Reverb G2, and for me that's perfect. And if I didn't have the Rift S, I would have bought a Quest 2 straight away. I think actually, just because of that ease of use, and just when I just don't fancy spending 50 hours, setting up a sim before I fly it, just to basically put it on and it works perfectly. I just think it's the best of both worlds. And to be honest, even a Quest 2 and a Reverb, I suppose what's that? That's about this, probably a little bit more than just an Index on its own. So that for me that kind of works well.
It's pretty close though.
It is, yeah, it is
it's
close.
Pretty close. So.
Especially when you add the audio strap and everything, but
exactly. Then it gets more expensive. Yeah, so there was the HP Reverb G2. Very interesting. Very, very interesting in the last year. Then actually we did have some more launches. We had the Cosmos Elite. So the Cosmos Elite is HTC's entry into the hardcore gaming market. They first came out with the Cosmos Elite by its own, which is pretty bad. Let me just say it like this, because the tracking is just really, really, really bad. Like, it also comes with inside-out tracking, just like the Quest and the G2, but this is really an inside-out tracking that doesn't work well. So if you want to play shooters with the Cosmos Elite and you do this like aiming down the sides, it's not going to work well. And we all had hoped for some kind of software updates which would simply resolve the issue, and those came, but they didn't resolve anything. It's still so bad until this very moment, so that was bad. So in this year, the Cosmos Elite came out. Actually, it's the same headset, but it is a different faceplate. So the faceplates of the Cosmos, you can exchange them. So now with that Elite faceplate, basically the Cosmos has the lighthouse tracking. So the same tracking that the Valve Index is using, and the same tracking that the Pimax headsets are using, and the old HTC Vive and Vive Pro. So that is probably an option. What do you think, Tony? Is that an option for people? It cost $975 for the whole package, including base stations.
Yeah, so it's funny because in preparation for this episode, I reached out to you and said, what's some of the stuff we're going to be talking about? And you listed like this different hardware, and you listed the Cosmos Elite, and I'm like, Cosmos Elite, what is that?
Okay.
I kind of forgot about it, right? And so I did some searches, and I'm like, oh yeah, okay, it's the faceplate with Steam VR, and I'm looking at the package that they're selling on like Amazon for it, and it comes with the old Vive wands, like not even
Right.
the 2.0 ones, right? The
Right.
1.0 Vive wands. And I find it kind of bizarre, man. So MRT, I don't know why I keep calling you MRTV.
Yeah.
Sebastian, what is this story with the Cosmos Elite? If it does have the Steam VR faceplate, then I guess it's getting great tracking, right?
Yeah,
So
it's
that solves
perfect
the
tracking. Yeah,
problem.
totally
But-
solved.
But then you're going back to these old
Right.
flipper, these flippers, right?
Right.
These ginormous flipper things.
Exactly.
Are they worse than the sort of Windows mixed reality controllers, the first ones? Are they actually worse, or were they?
They're less ergonomic.
Yeah,
for
exactly,
Sure.
yeah.
They're less ergonomic.
They are
Wow.
less ergonomic. They are not super bad. Like for some kind of games where you have something huge in your hand. That's what she said.
For Beat Saber, they're great. For
Yeah,
Beat
yeah,
Saber, they're
like
great.
for-
You just bang, bang, bang.
for Beat Saber, or like for games where you where you have like a pistol in your hand or something. I think, or like a big sword. You have a big sword in your
Yeah.
hand. Right? like for these things, it's pretty great. It's not bad. But for most other things, it's not so great. Right, so yeah, those feel a bit outdated. Those controllers in a world with the Oculus Touch controllers, in a world with the Valve Index controllers, and even the G2 controllers. Right, we didn't talk about the G2 controllers. They're actually quite good. Right,
They
Steve?
feel great.
They feel
in
great.
the hand.
They're great.
Controllers.
But Sebastian, the Cosmos Elite. So they created this new controller that they have, right? Why
Yes.
couldn't they have taken that controller and just put Steam sensors all around it for this new Elite version?
Right. That's a good question. Probably this would have been much better than to sell the whole package with these old controllers, because that's really like the one big drawback of the Cosmos Elite, that you have to tell people, hey, you get great tracking, but unfortunately you get these old controllers. Right? If the Cosmos Elite probably came with the Valve Index controllers or other controllers, their own controllers, yeah, then probably it would be something that you could more recommend. But it's just so tough to recommend the Cosmos Elite package over the Valve Index package, which has like the Valve Index controllers. It has like a bigger FOV. It has basically everything's better for like $80 more, or like not even. It's just like a tough call. Right?
Don't you think it's amazing too? Like, just to talk about HTC just for a quick second, since
Right.
we're on this topic, is like, has any company ever dropped the ball more than this company? Because they
Right.
were handed on a silver platter. Okay, so Oculus, Facebook, I mean, they bought VR, right? But there's always a Pepsi to anybody's Coke. There's always a Burger King to anybody's McDonald's. There's always a number two, right? And HTC was handed it on a silver platter.
You're so
There
right.
were gamers
Yeah.
on like NeoGAF, gamers that didn't play VR at all. And they heard of the HTC Vive. People heard of the Vive. The Vive had a name brand. It had recognition. And all they had to do was to deliver another compelling product. And they fumbled it on the goal line, man. Just unbelievable.
Yeah, it's a disaster.
You're so
really.
right. You're so right. And like in the very beginning, all the VR enthusiasts were fan of the HTC Vive because it was simply it still is a great VR headset. It's still great. It's crazy, right? And in the beginning, it was okay. Do you get an HTC Vive or do you get the Rift, the original CV1? And lots of people went for the Vive because you had these controllers. You had real like room tracking. It was amazing, and wow. So they got so many VR fans, and unfortunately, they lost them all with the price of the Vive Pro. It was suddenly so expensive, you couldn't get it anymore. You simply didn't want
They
to
were
have
playing
it.
that resolution card, weren't they? Because everybody wanted that higher resolution with an
Right.
OLED screen. We still do.
Exactly.
And they were
yeah.
the only ones that even attempted it and thought we can just stick any price we want on this.
Yeah,
But,
But that was wrong because there was the Samsung Odyssey, which then also had the same resolution and was also pretty good, right, and much cheaper. So it was just a wrong decision. They didn't know what to do with their branding, like where to position this as their target audience, because they said like, okay, this is like a prosumer headset and this is for the professionals who are using it. But then they were selling it together with their Viveport thing with their game store thing, and it was so strange. It's like HTC, unfortunately, is like one of the companies where I don't understand their decision making. It feels like they have this huge magic 8-ball, right? And all the answers are there. Like, okay, yeah, that's just strange. I really think it's strange, and I'm a bit sad about it, that HTC is not like the strong player that it could have been. And then now we have the Cosmos, which is a complete flop as well. So Tony, it wasn't even, you didn't even know so much about it, right? I mean, you knew
I forgot about it.
You forgot about it.
I saw your video of the occlusion issues, and I was just appalled by that. I couldn't believe it, and I thought, surely that's just a software problem. Sure, they can fix it. And actually, I never thought about it since. But to actually know that it was always a problem, I mean, it's not acceptable at all. It's not for the price as well.
It's so strange. And then in 2020, last year, they wanted to introduce that Cosmos into the market, and their only marketing idea was the Cosmos on that turntable. Can you remember this? The Cosmos was spinning on the turntable, like here, my beautiful adult beverage turntable. And it was so strange. And in the very, very beginning, they said, like, okay, the Cosmos, it could be powered probably by a 5G device, or some talk about this was going on. And here, nobody has 5G at that time. And it's like, it's just so strange. It is so strange for me to see all these bad decisions. And it kind of reminds me about how HTC was faring with the smartphone market. In the very beginning of smartphones, actually HTC was an important player. They had really good phones. And in the very beginning, at the time, they had the first Android device. The first Android device was an HTC. I think it was called...
Yeah, I had that.
You had it? Okay.
It's a great phone.
Yeah, exactly. I also had an HTC. And now they are not playing any role anymore. So I don't know what's the matter with HTC, but their decisions, their business decisions, they don't make sense.
Do you think they'll pull out of VR completely now, or do you think they're
No, I don't think so. Actually, one thing was great in 2020 about HTC is their strategy about the enterprise market. That is solid, and they do have a business, and I believe that's why they are still in business, because their enterprise solutions are really good. So they're still selling the HTC Vive Pro and the Vive Pro I to enterprises, and they have the XR suite, which is like, to say it in an easy way, is they want to make it the office of spatial computing. So like software where you can meet others in VR for conferences, software where you can like teach others in VR, and all these kind of things, they are better than Oculus. They are better than any other company. And I believe their strategy for that part is amazing and really good. They're putting lots of effort onto this enterprise market, but they for the consumers, for us, they don't play any role anymore at this moment in time, which I think is sad. But for 2021, actually, they did tease us a bit, and they said, like, wow, we're going to have something amazing, which is going to change VR. Yeah, let's see how that plays out in this year.
I hope they do if they have a press conference for these upcoming products that they're talking about, because they love to do a press conference in January. They've done it a lot of times already.
You're right.
HTC. And so this January, if they do some little thing, please get a decent looking hotel or something when they do it, because a lot of their press conferences just look so amateur.
Yeah, right.
And doesn't help their company too much.
Agreed. So probably we are going to hear from HTC soon. You're right, Tony. They liked January's to talk about their headset because of CeBIT. No, not CeBIT. That was Germany. Oh God, the big conference in Las Vegas.
Consumer Electronics Show.
Consumer
CES.
Electronics Show. Exactly. CES. Exactly. That show is going to happen quite soon.
It's going to be online only.
It's going to be online only, right? Yeah. So who knows? Probably we're going to hear something from HTC. I would be happy. I would be very happy about a strong comeback in the consumer market, because Oculus needs competition. It's going to be good for everyone, for us, and it's even going to be good for Facebook if they have competition.
Can I ask you a quick question, though?
Course.
I'm looking at on the internet here, I have HTC's stock because a lot of people thought HTC would actually go bankrupt. There were a lot of people that were predicting by this time HTC would actually have gone belly up. And they have like this holding company that I think has control of a lot of their VR stuff. So even if HTC went belly up, the VR part might survive, although people debate about that. But they're still alive. Their stock is like $30. It's way down from like where it's been in the last few years. Like it's just gone way down. But their market cap is about 25 billion. And my question regarding that is, can a company with 25 billion market cap, can they compete in this market? I mean, a company with such small amounts of money to be able to throw at like research and development, like we've already seen the tracking. That's one of the problems that we're going to see here in VR. Like we're going to be talking about some future headsets. And I think one of the issues that we're going to see with a lot of this stuff is, can anybody other than Facebook and Oculus do proper inside out tracking? Because that hasn't been proven yet. We have not seen it from another company yet. And I don't know if HTC, with a $25 billion market cap, if they can compete in this arena.
That's a really good question. For inside out tracking that actually works, I still have to say it again. The Windows mixed reality tracking is not as bad as people think, honestly. And I'm going to force this on you, Tony. At one point in time, I'm simply going to send you something, and you have to try it.
I would love to see you try a Reverb G2. I really would.
Me too. Yeah, right. Let's make this happen somehow. So, but you're right. It's not so easy. And I was so surprised that HTC, of all companies, cannot get inside-out tracking right. That's unbelievable, right? They were so strong in VR with the first VR headset, and now they can't even get inside-out tracking right. So, wow, let's see what's going to happen in this year in 2021. And I really hope they can make a comeback, because if not, then yeah, it's going to be tough for HTC. Again, what Tony said, like 25 billion. Yeah, it would be enough for me to make a VR headset. But I don't know.
Well, MRTV, we do have a much smaller company, definitely isn't valued at 25 billion, and it's getting into the market with an incredible headset. It was announced this year. Tell us about that one.
All right. The DecaGear One. Exactly.
Sounds very exciting.
That sounds really exciting. It's a small team operating out of Bangkok, which is already very sympathetic, in my opinion. And, well, they have announced the DecaGear One, which is a headset that they have completely produced by themselves with the same resolution like the HP Reverb G2. So that should be fine. And the exciting part of this headset is it is made for social VR games in mind. Like, for example, the VR chat. And the special thing is they have cameras inside the headset. And these cameras, they look at your mouth and they look into your, not into your head, at your head, so that they that would be bad if they could look into your head. They can track your facial expressions, right? So if you are in VR, if you are in that VR chat game or any other social world and the game supports it, then the other players could see your facial expression. And that's a huge thing, right? We make so many things known with our facial expressions. It's incredible. And this headset, it also has their own inside-out tracking. They've made like controllers which look better than controllers of other companies. Looks better than the HP Reverb G2 controllers with with tracking of the fingers, finger tracking, and all kinds of things. Very, very exciting for all of you who want to know more about the DecaGear One. You can check out a long interview that I had with the team in Bangkok. I mean, I wasn't in Bangkok. We did it like via Skype as well. And it was really interesting. And the most interesting thing is that they want to sell it like at a bargain basement price for PC VR headsets. Like, I think it was like $400 or $499, but it can also do wireless. It's a PC VR headset that can do wireless, and basically it's like, wow, everything that you could ask for, everything that you could ask for in one headset. So, Tony, what did you think about the DecaGear One when you heard about it or when you read about it?
Okay, so this is the second item that was on your list where I was like, DecaGear One? What the heck is that? I forgot about this. Okay, so I did a couple searches and I'm like, oh, yeah, this thing. Okay, so I got to admit, I'm in the camp of people that say there's just no way. There's just because supposedly the price of this thing is $450. Okay, it's 2160 by 2160 for each eye. It's got eye tracking, it's got mouth tracking, it's got this little hip attachment that you can use for like your movement in VR to maybe alleviate some motion sickness type stuff. It's got these controllers that look like they're basically trying to combine an Oculus Touch with Valve Index controllers.
That's what we want.
That's
what we want.
Yeah.
Perfect.
But you know what? I complain about that because I'll argue and say this is the wrong way to go, ladies and gentlemen. Like Sony had a patent not too long ago where they were also kind of copying the Valve Index. This idea that you're going to hold your hands out like this. Like I could rant on this for a considerable amount of time, but my argument is this idea that, yeah, you have your hands out like this, and then when you're going to grab the sword, you grab your controller. How amazing of a concept is that? And it's one of these things where when it was in the boardroom and Gaben was over there and somebody did it, they were like, oh my God, that is so genius. We're absolutely going to do that. Then when they actually do that, you actually get it. To me, it was the biggest gimmick ever. It worked for it didn't even work for a day, honestly. I'm like, just give me a grab button already, because you're going
to need a controller. You're always going to need a controller in VR, without a doubt. You know, you can't just use your hands for everything.
Yeah, right.
But I'm saying this
the
idea
grip
that
controller,
you have,
I agree.
The idea is you have the controller in your hand, right? It's wrapped around your hand, but you're leaving your hand open like this.
Yeah, it is
the
a gimmick,
whole idea of the Valve Index controller is like you're grabbing something physical and then you're letting go of something physical and you're grabbing something physical and letting go. And
it can be very tiring.
Yeah, and it just doesn't work that good. I'm not a fan of it.
Okay, if you want to see more rants like in full length, check out VR365. That is Tony's channel, and it's a pretty amazing channel.
Best rants ever.
Go there right now and absolutely subscribe to his channel now. So, but Tony, you got kind of out of the way. You want to say what do you think about the DecaGear One?
I don't believe that this is possible. Like, this company is so I should have watched your interview. Like, I really need to watch your interview with these guys, because what I want to do is I just want to listen to them and I want to hear all the things that they say, and I want to see, is this a scam? Is this real? What is going on here?
This is not a scam. I can 100% tell you this is not a scam. They have developed everything. They have shown it to me in the stream. Watch it. It's not a scam at all.
Okay, but are they going to be able to mass manufacture it? Are they going to have like how are they getting it down to $450? Why is the Reverb the price it is, and this is going to be $450, and it's going to have like eye tracking and all this other stuff? Don't you think that 1 + 1 doesn't equal 3? How is this working?
So the other companies, they make money, lots of money with the hardware. Like even the HP Reverb. No, this is not the HP Reverb. Even the HP Reverb costs $599. Yeah, making that device probably cost $299, and they're still having some gains. Of course, they need to, right? They want to make money with that stuff. So for them, they also want to make money, but they told me, okay, if we make this now, and if that costs like $700, we have no chance whatsoever. We don't even need to start doing this. But with this $499 price, they can make it, and they still have a little margin, but they want to make it so cheap because they want to show, hey, this kind of headset, we are able to make it so cheap and still good, and they need to do it in order to have people buy it in the first place and to get into the market in the first place. So they want to become a player in the market, and that's why they want to give it to us for $499. But in a world with the $299 Quest 2, even $499 seems expensive now, doesn't it?
I'm just laughing because Claybomb in chat says Mega Doo-Doo, because the name of the company, like their actual name of the company is like Mega Dodo. It's just, there's so many things about this company.
Like the name is funny.
I know you're saying they're legit, Sebastian. I know you are, but you got to admit, if you just looked at the surface level stuff, it looks very fraudulent.
I get it if you just spend 5 minutes on it, but I spoke
Yeah.
with them for like 3 hours. I got to know them. I spoke with the engineers. Watch the interview. Really, I can really tell you, watch the interview. It's a super interesting interview, and I admire them for their balls to try to make this happen. This is crazy, to get into the market with a VR headset who is still kind of early. There's this one big company, Facebook, they are ruling us like crazy with the pricing and stuff. It's like a suicide commando, what they're trying to do.
Oh, here's
so
my
they
one
get
last
my
thing, though.
respect for that. Yeah.
Sebastian, one last thing about this DecaGear One is, okay, remember inside-out tracking, right? So this thing uses inside-out tracking. At first, they were saying that they're working with Steam and stuff, so I was hoping, oh man, if this has Steam sensors, then the tracking's going to be good. But they're using inside-out tracking, and I go back to this idea that, okay, Windows Mixed Reality 1.0, halfway decent. But it's not up to the level of where Quest is with inside-out tracking. We can all agree on that.
That's true.
And I just don't think it's easy for any company out there to all of a sudden have a high-quality inside-out tracking when they're creating it from scratch, which is what HTC had to do. They had to create it from scratch with the Cosmos, and they failed. Yeah, so
you're right, totally. And well, I'm going to try it out hopefully, and then I will see if it's good or bad. But you're right. It's like crazy what they're trying to do. And I love that they're trying to do it. It's amazing. And they get my full respect. I hope they make it. I hope they really come out with a product that people can buy. I would be happy about it. We need more players like this. And I believe if they really make it a reality and you put it on and then for VR chat and these things, there's a real niche where you use the headset and it's amazing. Wow, I think they can sell some 10,000s of it.
In some ways, I get the kind of impression that this year is going to be the year of the biometrics, for headsets.
Yeah.
Because obviously the HP Reverb Omniset edition is going to be released at some point in the spring. And the Omniset edition is going to be way more. I'd imagine, I'm just guessing, but it's going to be more than the standard Reverb, which is already £600. So kind of with Tony on it, to be honest. Like, how on earth can they include all of these other gadgets for that price? I mean, I'm very intrigued to see how it plays out, though. Definitely.
Exactly. But honestly speaking, it's not so expensive to put like a camera there. So that's a cool thing. So they don't need to put so much money into that. That's why they can keep the cost down. Yeah, let's see. So DecaGear One, Megadodo. Yeah, fantastic name. I wish Megadodo, if you're watching this, dear Megadodo, I wish you all the best for 2021. Hopefully you get a device out. I'm looking forward to try it. And yeah, I'm going to let the people know what I think about it once I have it. Yeah, Megadodo. There's still one more headset that we should speak about. It's the Pimax 8KX. So that is a headset that has been talked about for quite some while. Even in the Pimax Kickstarter, there was 2017 or something. People could actually pledge for the 8KX, and the special thing about the 8KX is that it has real 4K screens. Each display of the two displays are 4K displays, so you need like a beast of a PC to run this. And yep, so you could pledge for it already like years ago, and in this year, finally, the people who pledged for it, they got it, and you can buy it also on their website now, on the Pimax website, the Pimax 8KX. Now, well, for me, I cannot really tell you my final conclusion about the headset, since I only had a pre-production unit. And actually, there was lots of drama about this pre-production unit, because I got it here and then I unboxed it in somehow the wrong way, and then had some fights with the Pimax employees. that is for me, it's a thing of the past. For me, it's over. I don't feel any bad emotions about Pimax or any of the Pimax team members. So if you're watching this, dear Pimax, we're good. And I'm also going to show other Pimax headsets here on the channel quite soon. I got the Pimax 5K Super here in the MRTV headquarters, which is another Pimax headset with a very high refresh rate. So they have lots of different kinds of models, and I personally think they have too many models. Yeah, you kind of lose track of what they have, right? Pimax 5KX, 8KX, 5K, 5K Super, Artisan. I don't know. It feels a bit too much. What do you guys? What's your perception of Pimax?
Yeah,
Please tell me.
They're as bad as Samsung with their new phones. Like, I just don't know. If I was to buy a Pimax headset, I'd be so confused right now. I just think their marketing's a bit all over the place and a bit crazy, to be honest. But I mean, I love what they're doing. I think Pimax are the ones that are really pushing the boundaries of VR, and I think I applaud them for that. I really do. But I just think they need to work on their quality control and their customer service. And I wouldn't trust them with my money right now, personally. I know that's quite strong, but I do.
All
I just hope that they can build upon, what they're trying to do here, because I just think there'll be a huge player in the VR space, particularly for the enthusiast as well.
I also think so. Actually, I think they have lots of potential, right?
Massive potential.
Just like you say, they are really like the only company which really tries to push the boundary, like make it better, make it more, make it a wider FOV, get more resolution into these headsets, right? Perfect for enthusiasts. Actually, Steve, right? You are a VR, you are like a simmer. Wouldn't that be like the dream for you, like the 8KX, like super high resolution?
Yeah, definitely.
The
something
huge
that
FOV.
I really, really, nearly bought or pre-ordered one. I was so close to it. But I just, with all the scare stories and some of the, their reputation as a company, it's a shame, but they're just not quite there yet for me. But I mean, just to have that, like you say, that field of view, 4K displays, it's the dream, isn't it? Right? But and even for the price that they're asking for it, I think, it is expensive, really expensive, but for what they're offering.
Yeah, but it's still cheaper than Star VR or Xtal, right? It's still like a price that you could put into if you're an enthusiast, right?
For an enthusiast, totally, absolutely. But just, don't trust them right now. But I don't know, I'm hoping that's going to change in the next year or two. I really do.
Okay. Tony, what is your perception of Pimax?
Yeah, so Pimax, I've always kind of, I felt the same way about like, do I want to put my money behind this thing? It always seemed like high risk, high reward. Okay, so yeah, you get this headset, and if it works and you don't have any little flickering problems or weird issues with like the Pi tools and all this other stuff, if you actually get it to work and it's working right, it's pretty freaking amazing. You're kind of in this different kind of a world. I'll tell you right now, of all the different things that VR headsets can go to, I want maximum field of view, because I believe eventually, I was just thinking about this. I was playing Racket NX on my Oculus Quest, and it's so immersive, but I was just imagining, could you imagine if the field of view was just like complete field of view, like there was nothing blocking, you're really in the freaking place. And then if it also had body tracking and put your body there, it would be like so next level. And then I think once we get to that point, VR is going to dominate like none other, because when people have that full FOV and they have their body there as well, they are essentially transported to another place. There's nothing interfering with that anymore. And we're not there yet, but Pimax is trying to reach for that. And I appreciate that. But when we talked about like HTC and they have like 1 million different models, well, Pimax is on another level when we get to that. I mean, they got so many different variants. They're like scatterbrained. It's the management. Like, I don't trust HTC's management. I don't trust Pimax's management. They're too scatterbrained. They're off in 1 million different directions. Yeah. They don't know exactly what they want to do. And there was an opening. Remember how I said that, HTC had it handed on a silver platter? Well, they freaking fumbled at the goal line, and Pimax was there. They could have picked the ball up and ran with it, because they had an opportunity for a brief minute as well, where they could have been that darling headset that could have snuck up, and they couldn't get all their stuff together. Same type of thing where people are buying them. Some people are getting them right away. Some people are waiting forever to get them. And it's like, I feel like if you buy a Pimax, you better buy 2 of them, because you have to put one in a closet just in case something happens with your first Pimax. So for me, it's like, yeah, it's lifestyles of the rich and famous. It's like, if you can have extra headsets floating around, hell yeah, I'd have a Pimax too.
All right.
Yeah, if I had the spare cash, I would definitely buy an 8KX as well. Definitely, I would. But they're a little bit too obsessed with the sort of resolution side of things. I really feel like a 4K headset. I mean, I said 2160 by 2060, but you mentioned, Tony, another slightly different display, 2180 or something. What? No, 20 something or other, like a resolution. That sort of idea, you cannot run an 8K VR headset on any hardware right now. It's ridiculous. They just tone it down a bit and make a solid headset.
They have something like this. One of their headsets is the Pimax Artisan, which I really like it, and you could run it on hardware that is not 3090 or 3080. So that's actually pretty nice, and I do like this headset. But
what resolution is that one? So.
I don't know it by heart now, but it's not like it's less than the G2, I think.
We need the Reverb G2 with a field of view, great field of view, and Rift S controllers, and then we're there.
Yeah. Anyways,
I think Pimax could actually do that. They could do that.
Honestly speaking, I think they could really be a very important player in the VR market if they would make their lineup easier to understand. Because now if somebody goes to their website and wants to try to buy something, they will just be confused because they don't know which one to buy. Should I buy the 8KX? Should I buy the Pimax 8K Plus? I think there's one as well. Should I buy the Pimax 5K, which has already 144 hertz? Or should I go for the Pimax 5K Super? Or should I go for the Artisan? It's like, what is going on? It's like, it feels like whenever the engineers see a new display on the market.
Yeah. Shiny. That's shiny over there.
Oh my God. I need to get it and make a new headset out of it. And if they really would only concentrate, let's say, on two headsets, one on the super high limit, like let's say the 8KX, that is their thing. That is the best that they can get right now. And one lower entry model, like let's say Artisan, people would get it. Okay, I don't have a 3090, I go for the Artisan. Okay, and still good wide field of view and stuff. Okay, but if I am that super enthusiast who wants to play Microsoft Flight Simulator with that super high resolution, okay, then I go for the 8KX. It would be so much simpler and people would buy more, I think, right? If we only had these two models. Would you agree with that?
Absolutely, yeah. Oh, maybe three, maybe just like a really cheap low-end thing. A medium-sized, kind of thing, like an Index or something, and then a proper enthusiast. Yeah, and even that would be pretty easy to understand.
Yeah, it would be easy to understand. But now, whenever they get a new display, making a new headset, that is simply confusing the frigging hell out of people, and that's really not helping them at all. So I have
people. Yeah. Sorry, have people who have ordered the 8KX? Have they all got it now?
I think most of them. Yeah, I think most of them.
God for that. It's been ages.
Most of them got it. Yeah, that's a good thing. That's a good thing. So yeah, I would love to review it here now. I have a 3080 now. Yeah, and a very good high-end PC. So I'm ready. Yeah, dear Pimax, if you're watching this, I would absolutely love to review the final Pimax 8KX. And I have a new Pimax headset here now, the Pimax 5K Super with that super high refresh rate of I think 180 hertz. Looking forward to try that out too. And I really think they could become an important player because they do push the boundaries. They are for the enthusiast, right? But too many options. In terms of customer service, actually, I did hear that people have better experiences now. I did hear from quite a lot of people that now if you put in a ticket, you're going to get it answered much faster, within 24 hours, you're going to have your answer. And also the new headsets, they come with a new coating with way better quality than those black ones, which kind of didn't have a good housing quality. So things are actually getting better. Now also they have a software environment where things are easier, where you don't have to be that super enthusiast, where you have to tweak every single setting, where actually you simply choose which game you want to play, and the best settings will automatically be applied for you. And the Sweeviver actually programmed that or helped to program this, so they do make the right steps right now. And I'm honestly looking forward to find out if they can succeed. Yeah, let's see. Let's see what's going to happen. So
to get Sweeviver on the show,
yeah,
great.
Yeah, a new Step Brothers thumbnail. That was the ultimate.
All right, that was funny. Exactly. Yeah. So let's see what's going to happen in 2021 for Pimax. I still think they have chances, even though right now they have built so much of a toxic fan base, which is like toxic. If you look into their forum, there's lots of negativity going on. So, but that's their own fault, right? Because people have been waiting too long. There was bad customer service, and these kind of things added up, and now it feels like kind of toxic there right now. And they really have to work on their image, because people will hear about that negative image first, right? Just like you said, Steve, right? You are interested in it in general, but that...
Oh, yeah. I would love to try one. And I think if I did try one, I'd probably be sold on it, to be honest, because I just think what they're doing is fantastic. And we need Pimax in 2021. We really do.
Okay, right.
Without a doubt.
But then I do believe that you have to upgrade from your 1080 Ti.
Might do at that point, yeah. So I don't think it would just look at me and laugh and then, die probably.
Right. Yeah, so that's something interesting to look at in 2021. Pimax, still there. And let's see what's going to happen. Wow, we already are 2 hours and 10 minutes in. Normally this is a good time to stop, but we still have to talk about software. Probably not into every single detail, right? But still, we need to talk about software, about games. So, Tony, what is your game of the year 2020?
Well, if we're talking PC VR, it is absolutely Half-Life Alyx. I just don't think you can go anywhere else. I have my complaints about the game. I'm critical about a number of aspects of the game, but ultimately, I said this, I was on some other show where I mentioned this, that the hotel level, the hotel level of Half-Life Alyx, it's like the 8th or 9th level or whatever, when you're in that hotel, that individual level wipes the floor with every other game released this year. Just that if they just put that level and said this is the game, one level, that level would be game of the year for me. It's that good. I'm disappointed by some other aspects of it, but easily game of the year, in my opinion.
Right. And what about Steve? What is your game of the year?
It's going to be an easy one, this one, isn't it? I don't want to be boring, but honestly, Half-Life Alyx is absolutely unbelievable. It's on another level, isn't it? And I think it's set the bar so high, but it's also, it's something that should be what game developers should be looking at moving forward. It's just the atmosphere, the sound. It's like a AAA. It's like when you go to the cinema and watch that, amazing film, like the new James Bond film, or I don't know, whatever, you get that high quality experience, and it's just, when you're playing that game, it just feels like you're in something special. It's just incredible. It's just, and the way it runs really well. I don't know how they've managed
it. So optimized. It's crazy.
It's incredible.
Yeah, you're right. It's just beautiful.
1080 Ti card.
No
and
problem.
I've got pretty much everything max on the Reverb G2. It's like, I shouldn't be able to do this. But it's amazing.
Yeah. Okay, I have to chime in. My choice of game of the year is Half-Life Alyx. I mean, of course, really, there's really no competition. I was so thrilled to be in that game, right? It was in the beginning of the year. Not the beginning, or probably, it was still quite early in 2020. We were all in lockdown. The whole world was in lockdown. And we got a great gift. We can forget about the shitty real world. And we can all go into Half-Life Alyx. And it was amazing. I'm a big Half-Life fan in general. Played the 2D games, of course. And to be in that world suddenly, right? Wow. It just showed me again that there's no way back to flat gaming. If you can really be within Half-Life, it is just so magical. And then they have done so many things right that other games that are also coming out right now, they even don't get them right. Like, for example, that you can touch everything that you see there. If there's something lying around and you think, hey, I should probably pick that up and throw it at someone. Yeah.
Like with Medal of Honor, I was
you couldn't
really
do that.
disappointed
Same
by
here.
that. Now that I've played more of it now, I just think, hang on a minute, that's completely like, I can't pick that up, damn it. You know,
exactly. There's in Medal of Honor, there's an axe in the beginning of the game, and
did you try and pick that up? I did.
Of course, I tried to pick that up, but it doesn't work. It's ridiculous, right? But for Half-Life Alyx, everything that you see there, that you imagine, hey, I should be picking that up, you totally can pick that shit up, right? It's beautiful, and then the physics. Everything works just exactly as you would imagine it to work, right? If you, I don't know, like open a door or whatever, like all these things, they just work as you imagine they should work correctly, and that just helps with your immersion so much. You are really in that world. You are really in Half-Life, in the Half-Life world. It's freaking magical. I'm angry now.
I'm just getting another beer. I think it's going to last another hour.
You're right. You're right.
Have you ever anyone played Crysis on flat screen? I
did.
The Crysis game.
I did.
This is the Crysis for VR.
Oh, really?
In my opinion,
okay.
It's that kind of. We're going to be remembering this for many years to come. Like, it's Half-Life Alyx is the literally everything's changed now. And I think maybe. I don't know. It may have cost them so much money to make it. We may never see a game like it again. I hope we do, at least, in the near future. But I just think, I totally agree with everything you're saying, Seb. It's a magical experience. I played it on the Rift S when it first came out.
Yeah, still good,
and
right?
I was amazed with that. Played it again with the Reverb G2. It's like playing it again for the first time. Sorry, my beer's here.
Yeah, you're so lucky. You're lucky. You're lucky.
I try to open my beer now. But honestly, incredible.
Oh my goodness, yeah. So a huge achievement. And absolutely, like all the other games which are coming out right now, they have to compete against Half-Life Alyx, right? Now, like Medal of Honor, which I still think is a really good game. We're going to talk about it in a moment as well. Yeah, but, well, you see things, you can't pick them up. You feel like, what the heck? Is this coming out of the VR Stone Age or what, right? So it's like really tough now for all the other games which are coming out because they have to compete against Half-Life Alyx. What do you think, Tony, right?
Yeah, I mean, it definitely has raised the bar. I will say, though, like, the one game that is pretty close to it, I think, is The Walking Dead Saints and Sinners. Like, Half-Life Alyx was March, and The Walking Dead was late January. So we had a really, it was loaded in the first half of the year, I feel like, for those two really big banging games right there.
That's another game that had amazing atmosphere, and just everything felt right. It's like the movement just felt really smooth in that game.
Right. Yeah, so let's talk about The Walking Dead Saints and Sinners. So that game, it has, beautiful graphics as well. Also, things felt right. The weapons, they had some weight to it. It just, things felt right. Would you agree with that?
I love if you pick things up, things had different weights, and you really felt like you're actually picking it up. And I know, Seb, you like to have sort of everything going on straight away, but I liked the quite slow. Yeah, I like the slow start. Actually, I just like to, kind of get myself in the zone and spend the first hour just kind of getting used to everything and just feeling the atmosphere of what this amazing world I'm in. And for me, I like.
So
like that.
You enjoy this kind of foreplay.
I know you. I watched your live stream on it, and you did. He wasn't impressed with that. But.
Yeah. Okay, that's the point. Like for me personally, I didn't enjoy the game so much. Probably I was playing it wrong, but I'm not the guy who likes this kind of grinding games where you have to grind, you have to walk around, you have to get stuff, you have to build things up, and then something happens. I need things to happen like right away. Like I don't have enough patience probably, because if I had, then I would totally enjoy this game. And I know people love The Walking Dead Saints and Sinners, right? Is it because I don't like grinding games or what? Tony, do you love The Walking Dead Saints and Sinners?
Well, let me tell you, I still haven't finished the game, so that's kind of bad that I haven't finished it yet. And it does get irritating after a while when you get further into the game. It's like you're kind of like it's like, oh, I got to get through this part. I'm stuck here. I got to find something, you know, and it does turn into kind of that grind. But the thing about The Walking Dead Saints and Sinners, like its true claim to fame, in my opinion, was just the fact that you could walk through this world where there were zombies, and it really was the interaction of your hands being able to grab a zombie's head and have a knife in your other hand and just and you could just and the thing is, there's other games that will let you do that, but when you're stabbing the zombie, sometimes it goes into like an automatic stab, and so it's like, no, I'm stabbing this part of his head, not that part.
Really?
And Saints and Sinners, you feel that, man. And so, like, you know how we have like these squeezy balls to like squeeze when we're like frustrated and stuff? Like you have a long day of work. You have Saints and Sinners is kind of like that. Like Gorn is kind of like that as well. Like you have a hard day at work. You can come home, you can throw on Saints and Sinners and just stab on it. Like, look, Ma, no hands, you know, don't even grab the zombie and just time it perfectly. And oh man, just that core gameplay mechanic felt so good. But like after doing 8 hours of that, and you're going through some back alley and you're always stuck and you can't get past it, it can get frustrating after a while.
Okay. Yeah, but I agree with you. Like the core gameplay, it feels super satisfying. Like this, just like putting that knife into the zombie head, it just feels right. They have nailed that the whole atmosphere. They have really, really done an amazing job. So I can tell that even in the German VR community, some people say that The Walking Dead Saints and Sinners, they even preferred it over Alyx because of all that atmosphere and the excitement that's going on there. Steve, did you also play lots of Saints and Sinners, or?
Well, I have to confess, I haven't actually finished playing it, to be fair, like Tony, but it's quite a big game, actually. If you really do really focus like I do, I'm a bit obsessed with it. You know, I like to take in all of the details. I'll read everything and I'll just, you know, sort of really take in the atmosphere. But yeah, I think that would be my second game. I mean, I haven't really played that many VR games. It's mainly Sims, but I mean, for me, that has to be number 2, surely. It's got to be close.
Okay, wow. Probably I should give the game another chance and simply, really do the deep dive into it.
Yeah, do
right?
it.
Take some more time and then enjoy it. And I think it's also on the Quest 2, right? It's like they have like this huge game catalog on the Quest 2 right now where you can simply take it anywhere you go. Yeah, probably I should give it another chance. Anyways, I think there were lots of games in 2020 which were like pretty amazing, and I would like to talk about one of those games right now, which is basically the wet dream of all Star Wars fans, because finally now we can be in that X-Wing fighter, we can be in that TIE fighter and make all of our Star Wars dreams come true. Of course, I'm talking about Star Wars Squadrons. So EA, thank you EA for giving this to us, because this is like a flat game, but they also put in some time to make it playable in virtual reality. It's not even very expensive, right? I think you can pick it up for like $30. You have a very lengthy single player campaign, which is like high quality. It feels great, and you can even play against your friends in multiplayer games. So I would like to ask you, Tony, what is your feelings about Star Wars Squadrons?
You know, actually, check this out. I've never played it.
Oh, okay.
I've never played it. Can you believe that?
No,
it's one of these few games like that just slipped through the cracks for me. I just didn't get it, and it was like, I'll get it. I'm gonna get it, and then a few weeks go by, and then I'm like, I didn't get it.
Oh, really? Wow. But don't you feel like picking it up right now? It's not expensive, right? What is like holding you back? Is it like you are not the kind of guy for Star Wars games?
Well, I'm not much of a flight guy, like just flying games in general. I tend to like enjoy them for an afternoon and then never want to come back to them for some reason. But the whole Star Wars thing, like the number one thing I am interested in with this game, the thing that makes me jealous of not having it already, is like seeing the interiors of like the cockpits and all the details and like the backgrounds and stuff. Like all of that does look really cool, and I really would like to check that out. But it's just, you know what? I've got a backlog of 1 million games that are staring me in the face. And so it's like, I'm just not desperate to run out and buy anything. I finally did play some Jurassic Park Aftermath though.
All right.
That took me a week, yeah.
Probably you should have played Squadrons instead. Yeah, who knows? How about you, Steve? It's about flying.
Yeah, I have to confess I haven't played it at
Okay.
all.
Oh my
But
god.
yeah, so sorry about that. Thing is though, it's not co-op, is it? It's not a co-op game, because that's my problem with a lot of VR games right now.
Okay,
I've got
yeah,
quite a
it's
lot
a
of
single
friends
player.
who have got VR, but we need co-op. We need to play.
Yeah.
I need to see my friend next to me in this like spaceship or something, and we
Right.
can,
That-
or
you're
you know,
right.
have like a wingman. Even in Elite Dangerous, you can't really do it properly. You can meet each other, but you can't be in you can't do the same sort of mission or objectives. And I think that's something that I really want to see with games in this year. Really, it's just a bit more integration with sort of co-op. So I was going to get it until I realised it doesn't have. Unless I'm wrong, it might have, but I don't think it has co-op,
No.
true co-op play. So
That would
friend's got
be
it. Wants me to get it, isn't it?
amazing. That would be amazing if it had like co-op, but it does have multiplayer, so you can play against your friends or something.
Yeah, maybe
Yeah.
do that. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm the only one who have played Star Wars Squadrons here in the Next Dimension podcast, it seems. But honestly speaking, I also haven't played it very long. I probably only, I don't know, a couple of hours, just a bit, looked into it, really, really enjoyed it. But the thing is, I have to check so many things out, right? And it's just so tough to really play through all of the games.
Does it work with the controllers, the touch controllers, or whatever controllers
No,
you're using?
no, it
'Cause
doesn't.
I've
It doesn't.
heard there's a lot of issues around the controller
Yeah.
setup, and a lot of people actually in the sim community play this game, but they can't. They struggle to use a HOTAS or like an actual proper flight stick. They can do it, but it's
Right.
a struggle. So
Yeah,
I think.
unfortunately, that is a problem. So, you can play it using the HOTAS, but there was lots of problems with the HOTAS at the very beginning when you played it. So I directly played it on the PlayStation VR with the HOTAS, with the PlayStation VR compatible HOTAS, because then you know, okay, it will work for sure, and you don't have to set things up. Or you can play it with a controller, with a gamepad. Then that will also work. Anyways. I agree. I love it. Would be better to be able to play it with the controller, just like Microsoft Flight Simulator. Probably that's something that's going to happen down the line. But yeah, actually, the game is made for a flat screen. Unfortunately, that's why you can tell. Okay, they ported it to VR, and I'm thankful that they did port that to VR. That they gave us this game. So that
Same situation with Microsoft Flight Simulator. I think the reason
Right.
why is because it's kind of like a quick kind of like fix for VR users. You know, that's why we haven't got full motion controller support right now, I think.
Exactly. Yeah, right. But I'm still grateful. Thanks, EA, for giving us a Star Wars game in virtual reality. And for the people who played it longer and played through the campaign, they love it. It's a well-made campaign, they say. And yeah, that's still on my to-do list of games that I should play more. Cool. So yeah, great that we got this game. So still, again, for all the people who are watching this right now, we want you to vote. What is your favorite game of the year? What is your favorite VR hardware of the year? Please check out the description of this video. You're going to find the link to the places where you can vote. And at the end of the show, we're going to find out what is your game of the year and what is your VR hardware of the year. So please join our little polls here. All right. Then we had, what other games did we have? Oh, a big one here, Population 1. Population 1 came out. It's cross-play on basically all the platforms that you can play on. And yeah, it has taken our community by storm, I would say. Tony, what are your thoughts about Population 1?
Here's another one I haven't played.
No.
See, I'm not a multiplayer guy in the first place, because if I get Population 1, here's what'll happen. I will step outside and then bam, I will be dead.
Yeah,
that's what happens in every multiplayer game I ever play. I step outside. As soon as I'm out in the open, I am a dead duck. And I just don't have the time to like get good, as these people are just so good.
They're
with this
insanely
stuff.
good out there, these multiplayer guys. I played PUBG the other day. I know it's not a VR game, but I was dead within the first like 5 minutes.
Of course.
And that was it. I was like, I can't do this.
Right. But honestly, with Population One, it is not so bad, Tony. Because, first of all, the thing is, you are with your two friends, right? It's like teams of three. So, like, we three could go out there, form a team, and then we could choose where we land on the map, right? We could talk about, okay, let's land there, and you can see where the others are kind of going, and you won't be dead in the first instant. Right, because the map is kind of big, and you can fly wherever you want to go. So you do have some time. You do have some time to enjoy the environments and pick up stuff that you need so that you won't be killed in the first moment. So you go around, you pick things up, you climb a tree, because that's one thing that you can do in Population One. You can climb things. You can fly by doing this kind of T kind of position. And they've done an amazing job with this game, because you can easily pick this up as a gamer. So you don't really have to become so great. You don't really have to train for like days and days in order to enjoy the game. And this is like one game which made me want to go back and play it, even though, right, I don't have so much time and stuff. But this game, I thought, like, wow, it's great. It feels good. You just do the tutorial once, and they made all the gameplay mechanics work so intuitively well, like how to load the gun. It's not a pain in the ass. It simply works. How to pick up guns, how to pick up ammunition, how to change the guns. Everything is really easy to learn and to use. And also, like, the flying, right? This T motion. It simply works, and it's so much fun. And for all people who don't know what kind of game it is, it's like a battle royale game, right? You're there with, I think, 18 other people or so. And in teams of 3 on a huge map. And then you go for it, and it's actually just fun and well made. So, Steve, I guess you have not played the game.
No, I haven't. I'm sorry. How did you guess? I might have done.
Oh my God! I think the three of us should just play this together as a
I would
team.
love that. Yeah,
No, really, we should do it.
I think that's my, as I say, my problem at the moment with some of these VR games. I want to be in a team. I want to be with my friends in VR. And if that was more the case, I would be more than, I'd be really interested in trying out some of these games. Actually, definitely that one. It sounds great.
Okay. It's up. It's up.
It's got to happen.
Steve, Tony, and me. We're going to play that together as a team. Yeah.
We're going to be amazing.
Yeah, right. Really, it's going to be fun. It's actually really an amazing game, and I believe probably I would say it's the multiplayer game of 2020 for me. Really, it's just like so well made, so fun. Everything is so polished, and they have done an amazing job of bringing this kind of cross-play. It simply works on all the platforms. Played it on the Quest 2, played it on the G2, and played it against others who have other headsets. Yeah, and everybody simply meets there and has a great time. Well done. And then they come up with some special content, like the winter episodes, and they have some ideas to bring you back into the game, and it feels like this is a living game, a game that is going to keep on being strong, and you will always find some players. Because especially for VR, that's a problem. If you come up with this kind of multiplayer game, right? The problem is that you could simply not have enough players there. And they have managed to make it happen. Yeah, it's on. It's not up, says Chris Richardson. Thank you for teaching me English. Whenever, yeah.
Sorry, go on. Someone said in the comments Pavlov, and that's another game I've seen of, and apparently it's great in co-op VR. So that'd be another one. Maybe we could try that.
Right. That's already a bit older. Yeah, but it's also fun. Yeah, but I think like this kind of team of 3. That's really great, and we should play it together. So it's on. Yeah, I'm learning English here with this channel as well, right? And my English is now much better than it was like 3 years ago. So we're going to do that. Especially playing in a squad is fun. This kind of feeling that you were
might
together.
Not die straight away then. You might actually
exactly, and then your friends. they can revive you, right? So Tony, even if you're going to be dead in the first moment, there is still a chance that I'm going to revive you using that kind of reviving thing that I don't know the English name of.
Where you talk about your family and everything, and you say you can't wait to go home, and then you step outside and then die straight away, because that's what happens in movies, isn't it?
You're right. Yeah. So Population One, I think they've done a great job. Very successful. Lots of people play it, and yeah, I think that's also really one of the big games in 2020. All right. What other games can we talk about which were noteworthy in 2020? Let me give you another one that I think is noteworthy. I think Medal of Honor. Medal of Honor, another AAA production. And the game got lots of bad rap in the very beginning, right? In the first day or so, people hated it. And I think there was like too much hate. We talked about this in the first show in the first episode of this podcast. And since then, people really played into it, and they found out, okay, the first half hour is kind of slow, but then it picks up and gets really good. Is it also what you think now?
Yeah, I mean, it gets better. It definitely is getting better. It's good and bad. I mean, there's lots of good content, and it's very detailed. Like, a lot of the environments are very detailed. But there also is this aspect to it where it's like you get killed and it's like start over again. Get killed, start over again. So there's some of that where that kind of starts to get drag on a bit, and you're like, oh God, I got to keep doing this one section over and over again because I just keep dying for some reason.
Okay, all right. Yeah, there's some parts are a bit tougher, and also I had to play again and again and again. But overall, I felt like this was one game which kind of like made me want to play more and more. It kind of like grabbed me. So the thing is, if a game grabs me, I really want to keep on playing. And for this game, it didn't work in the first hour or so, but later, because the levels, they're so varied, like they are so beautiful, and other new things are happening, and you want to see what's happening next. I think that's where this game is really strong. What do you think, Steve?
Yeah, yeah. I think the first. It's definitely the first hour of it. I'd imagine you hated the first hour, Seb, because it was very slow. Actually.
I didn't hate it, but it was slow. Yeah.
You know the bit where you're kind of in that armory bit and you pick up stuff and it gives you information.
Yeah, right. You loved it.
I went round every single item.
No,
and listened. I bet no one else did that.
I totally get it now. You are really enjoying these things. And in that armory, I thought, like, why am I here? I directly went to the battlefield.
Be fair, actually, in all seriousness, it's annoying you keep going back to it. I don't want to give too much away, but you keep going back to it, which is annoying. And that woman keeps talking. It's like, shut up. I don't want, but admittedly, but the first bit when you pick up like a C-47 or like a Dakota and you hear the history behind it, and then you pick up this ship and it tells you what happened. It was just, I just love that. It's a nice detail, a lot of dialogue that they didn't have to, they didn't have to make all that. And I think most people won't even notice it's there.
Yeah,
those little details are what make the game. But I've got to say though, it's a shame that as you go on, it feels a bit cartoony. And I think Gary said this on the first one. And I was like, what are you on about? But now I totally agree with him that it's not gritty enough. The story, it doesn't really give you an emotional connection.
You want war.
Yeah. Well, no. Well,
yeah.
I just want the characters. I just want to have moments where I really feel part of this, horrific sort of. I mean, really, what they're trying to portray, and there is the historical part of some of the text and dialogue, and what you can learn is really interesting. I wish they'd have put that into some of the storytelling of the actual game itself.
Okay.
But I mean, in terms of the actual atmosphere, it's up there with Half-Life Alyx, I think, in terms of how the presence of being there. I like some of the more open spaces. VR games don't generally tend to have these huge open spaces and storytelling moments, and I think that's important as well. But overall, I think it's a great game. Don't get me wrong, but it's a little bit too the music and everything. It's a little bit too. You'll shoot something and do something, and then there'll be a massive cut screen, and you'll have to wait ages, and then there'll be another loading screen, and then
Okay.
you have to wait, and then it's just a bit disjointed.
I got it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So for me, I think it delivered on what I expected, like a big production, like popcorn movie, right? You know, like it's like a blockbuster cinema. It's amazing. You can be in that blockbuster cinema and enjoy yourself if you simply understand what you're up to, right? You know, and some blockbuster movie do have some plot holes, and I think that's one. Like I simply enjoyed myself, and I still have some more hours to play, and I think it's great, and I think people should pick it up. It's a Medal of Honor game and real fun. It's not perfect.
I think the weapons are fantastic.
Yeah,
aren't
they feel really good.
Yeah, really good. Very convincing to me, you know.
I agree. But I think people will pick it up once it's cheaper. I think there must be some kind of like discount when it costs probably like $39. I think more people should pick it up and will pick it up. Right? The price was a bit expensive, right, Tony?
Yeah, a ton of people, like when you price something at $59.99, expectations are just
totally
through the roof on that. Like, and people are unforgiving like you would not believe, man. And when this does drop to $39.99 at some point, where it's $20 or $30, $20 cheaper, tons of people will buy it at that point. So
exactly. Yeah, you're right.
They started developing this. Was it 2016 when it started?
Probably. Or
I think that shows a little bit. Like some of it feels next gen, some of it feels really up there. But there's moments in the mechanics where there's a loading screen where there probably wouldn't be now. You know, with newer games, and I think because of that longevity, the sort of the long process of that development, it shows in the game a little bit.
Agreed. And also, we simply compare it against Half-Life Alyx, where you can touch all the stuff, right?
Yeah,
and it's just wrong that there is an axe in the beginning of the game and you can't get it. It's wrong. So
we need a word for that. A word for games that allow you to touch tons of things and pick up tons of objects, and then games that don't allow you to do that.
I like it.
And it needs to be a word that is incredibly common and obvious, like, oh, this game doesn't have free locomotion. We could say this game doesn't have interactive agency, or so, whatever the name is going to be. There's got to be some kind of name. And then we need to get to a point where people stop trying to make games that don't, like, you don't even come to the party if you don't have legit interactivity.
I agree. So, dear chat, give us names for this being able to touch everything thing, and we will make it a standard here on the show. Yeah. So we're looking.
You're right.
Looking at it right now.
It needs to be a standard for VR games. You can get away with it with flat screen games, you know. But
a safe word, right? I like it, Pally.
But for VR, I just think, you know, you're there in the world, so you need to touch everything that's there. I know it's
not that we would touch everything in the real world, but in VR we want to do that.
Yeah, well,
right.
Depends.
Exactly. Depends.
Hey,
where
you know,
go.
Sebastian.
Yeah.
On the list of games that you had, one of the games that you listed was Paper Beast. Did you get a chance to play that one?
Oh, yes.
I actually, if you want to talk about that one, I have some stuff to say on that one.
Yeah, right. So Paper Beast is some super, I don't even know how to put it into words, some super imaginative stuff that you can't even describe. It's like a trip. It's something that you experience just as if you would have taken some substance which will put you into another world with colors and things that are moving around, and paper beasts which talk and which you interact with and which you help to move on to the next level. Something completely experimental where you think like, wow, the developers, they smoked some good shit. It's crazy, and it's like one of the few games that I would want people to check out for themselves, because that's something that you can absolutely not experience in a flat game. You have to be in VR for it, and it's absolutely crazy, imaginative, beautiful. And like one of my favorite kind of games in 2020, which are like more indie, something special.
Yeah, it's a hate it or love it kind of a game though, because I've noticed a lot of people, like some people will try it and they're like, what are you talking about? Paper Beast sucks. But then other people are like, oh, I loved Paper Beast. So it just seems to be one of these kind of games. But I just wanted to mention it because I think it's somewhat of a hidden gem for 2020. It came out on PlayStation VR first, and then it did come to PC VR as well. And when you're there, like this like surrealistic world that you're in, and where the winds are moving and there's like atmospheric sound, and it just, I like that. Like, I love that aspect of VR, is like when you're taken to a completely different place and you get like a completely different vibe. You're like transported to this other world. It's kind of alien. You're solving these puzzles. You're moving around dirt and sand and water and stuff to like get to this other area. And it's very chill. It's very relaxed. It's very, it's the complete opposite of Medal of Honor. You know?
Exactly. It's the complete opposite. And there's a lot of colors inside. Like, wow, it's a trip. But it's really like a trip, and something very special, something that you can hardly describe with words. And if I would hear it now, as Sebastian, I was saying, oh, wow, I'm not going to pick that up because I need action. But even I really enjoyed that because it was so full of imagination and crazy moments. So yes, Paper Beast is really like that hidden gem. Is it something that you would pick up, Steve?
Yeah, it sounds really interesting actually. But as I say, I've never tried it. But I mean, wow. I mean, any VR experience like that, yeah, I kind of want to.
I think they have a demo.
Oh, brilliant! Right. Well, definitely, I'll download that.
Yeah.
It's on Viveport too.
Right. So, yeah, Viveport Infinity, or what? You mean like you can get it for free? Okay, that's cool. Yeah, then probably one more game that I would like mention. I personally didn't play it at all. Probably, I'm not sure if you played it. Phasmophobia. It's a horror game. It's a horror game that the German community tries to make me play like really hard. They really want me to be afraid and stuff because I hate horror games, right? I cannot even watch a horror movie. I'm way too into all these kind of things, and I can't play horror games in VR. It's crazy because it's too real.
Oh man,
yeah.
So Half-Life Alyx, did you have problems playing part of that because it turns into a horror game?
Yeah, some parts are a bit spooky, but that worked still well. I don't know why. I simply enjoyed my time in Half-Life Alyx, but real horror games where they want to scare you, I really can't do it. And Phasmophobia, the exciting part about this game seems to be that you can you play with your friends. You can play with up to, I think, 4 friends in VR. You're in that place together. And
at least it's co-op then. That's interesting. I'm interested now already.
It's
at least I can play.
Right. It's exactly. You're playing together with your friends, and the goal of the game is to find ghosts. I don't know. You are like a ghost. I don't know how to call these people who catch ghosts. Ghostbuster.
Ghost hunters.
Ghost hunters. Yeah, and then you have different kind of things to find those ghosts. And it's supposed to be amazing. Like the German community is crazy about this game. Like they really, really want me to play that game. And it seems because it's like very spooky. But if you're there with your friends, that makes the whole thing fantastic, they say. And they're having a great time. Tony, is that a game that you have tried or that you would try?
Yeah, I tried it. It's on Viveport Infinity. It was like one of the big things that they got recently. By the way, just anybody out there, if you have a PC VR headset and you want to try a lot of games, I cannot recommend Viveport Infinity enough because there's just so much stuff. You can sample so many different things on Viveport Infinity, like Paper Beast, like Phasmophobia. They have like The Walking Dead Saints and Sinners is on there as well, and just tons more stuff, lots of stuff. But I tried it on Viveport Infinity, and I was like in like this tutorial section of the game, and I was trying to go through that and trying to figure it out. And I got stuck somewhere. And then, so I didn't actually get to experience the full breadth of like being freaked out and having other people in it and stuff. So I sampled it, but I need to try it again.
Okay, yeah, probably with some people inside. So Steve, how about you and horror games? Is it something that you can do?
Yeah, it's funny. It's funny because I don't like horror films. Not because I think it's because I actually find them quite funny. Maybe I've got a warped sense of humor. I just don't find them. I find them a bit ridiculous, and I just think, it's just stupid.
Okay.
I actually prefer the old horror, the kind of anticipation and the kind of stuff that you imagine in your own head is always going to be more scarier than horror films of today. Are just so gory and graphic that they're not scary. They're just gross.
Okay,
and
got it.
That's the difference. So this game, has it got, I haven't played it, by the way, but has it got that sort of suspense and that kind of feeling of...
They're building it up. That's what they're doing.
That is the key to horror.
Yeah, exactly.
Not gore and visual. It's what you don't see that's scary.
I think that's exactly what this game is delivering, and they even don't have jump scares, which I like because I hate jump scares. It just makes me jump like crazy.
Too right. That's what it's about.
Yeah, right. So probably this is something interesting for you, Steve. Who knows?
I'd love to play that. That actually sounds really interesting.
Yeah, right. Cool. We are nearly getting to the end. Is there any game that you want to mention, Tony or Steve? Is there anything more?
Yeah,
2020.
I mean, there's some other games that came out, like Pixel Ripped in 1995.
Right.
That came out this year. That was pretty cool.
That was pretty good too.
Mini Motor Racing X. I don't know if you guys tried that, but I thought it's like a racing game, but it's like third person, and so you see the little cars driving around. And the cool thing with that game is like it can be room scale, so you can like have the track on your ground basically, and you can like lay down on the ground as you're playing it with your VR headset, and like you see these little cars go zzz, like they're going around like a little slot racing track.
Right.
It's really quite cool. Tower Tag, The Persistence came out on PC VR this year. It was a PlayStation VR game that a lot of people love. That finally came out on PC VR.
But people didn't seem to like it so much, right? Because the controls were not
the controller. Yeah, you got to use a crappy controller. I was trying to think of what other games came out.
Tower Tag, really, that was a really nice multiplayer game as well that I can absolutely recommend to people. Yeah. And you still looking for
there was one other one. Oh, Shooty Skies Overdrive. Have you guys ever played this? It's
Never
like the simplest thing in the world, but oh my God, it is an orgasm of color. That is like
that's always good.
Seriously, I played this on the Quest, right? I played it on the Quest, but it's on PC and it's like $5 right now on sale on PC, and it's super simple. Your hand is basically like a ship or something, and you're just pointing it, shooting at things. It's like a bullet hell game. And there's like a million little bullets that are coming at you, and you have to like dot your little ship. You have to move it around and dodge it, and you're just shooting things. But it is so unbelievably colorful. It is really good on the Oculus Quest, but it's also on PC VR. It's called Shooty Skies Overdrive.
Wow,
incredibly simple, but just fun.
Cool.
It's funny, Tony. I feel like you're the man to ask for all of the sort of really good value little games that people probably wouldn't even realize, just those games that you just you want to play a VR game, but you don't want to spend much money, but you want just an amazing experience. I bet you could like list off a ton of those.
Well, for me, I can tell you, what I like in VR is I love short burst games where you can play it for like 25 minutes and be satisfied, or 30 minutes or whatever. I don't really like spending 3 hours in a VR game. I don't feel like our headsets are there yet. I don't feel like the refresh rate is there yet. Like I think there's still a price we pay for wearing these headsets, but I could put on a headset for 25, 35 minutes and it's no big deal at all. And games that I like that are really good in that department is stuff like In Death. Like you can hop into
In Death is fantastic on the Quest 2 as well. Yeah,
on the Quest 2 it's great. I mentioned Racket and X. I actually did a show just the other day on my own channel. I've recently played Racket and X on my Quest 2. Holy smokes, have they improved that game on the Quest 2. It is the poster child for me for Oculus Quest, because it's completely 360. I mean, all you're doing, you're turning around all the time and you're hitting off this like giant arena where things light up and they're moving around and there's voices and there's the sound effects are incredible. I'm telling you, I cannot recommend Racket NX enough, and it is a beautiful 25-minute burst of entertainment.
Wow.
How much is it?
That's amazing.
I think it's $20.
Okay.
$20.
Racket NX. Yeah, lots of people love it. Yeah, I should play this more. I didn't play it on the Quest, actually. I played it on the PCVR headsets. But yeah, it makes so much sense to have this game on the Quest. That makes sense. And
Yeah,
another
it's
game. Yeah.
perfect.
And just like you also mentioned, the game that I can also recommend as a really an amazing game of 2020 is In Death Unchained. So In Death is a fantastic game, right? Like a bow and arrow game that's really cool and very satisfying to play. But on the Quest 2, on the Quest, it just shines. It's just so amazing what you can do, and they keep on coming with new content. So definitely, In Death is another great game that I can totally recommend for you guys. Cool. Very good. Yeah, so we nearly made it now, I think. But before we get to what our community, what the viewers thought, because before we come to the end of the polls, I still want to give people who are watching this right now the chance to go to the polls and to cast their own vote. So choose. These are the last moments where you can choose your game of the year 2020 or your VR hardware of the year 2020. Please check out the link in the description of this video. And yeah, choose your game. And in a couple of minutes, I'm going to tell you guys the result, tell you your favorite game and your favorite hardware of the year 2020. But before I do so, I simply want to wrap up and I want to ask Tony first. How was your year 2020 in hindsight? Do you think it was a good year for VR? What was the outstanding things? And in general, what do you think about 2020?
Wow, man, it's hard for me to try to put 2020 into a box because like there's really some really good things happened and some really bad things. Like I think there's a lot of bad things that have happened in the VR world in general that people don't know about yet, that the reality of it hasn't trickled down to the end-level consumer yet. And I think a lot of where the pain is going to come is the hardcore PC VR players. I think in the future years, I think they're going to notice that like Medal of Honor, Lone Echo, like these really elaborate PC VR productions like Half-Life Alyx, like these games are going to get more and more rare. And what we're going to get instead is we're going to get stuff like Population One, where they basically changed Population One, where the PC VR version kind of got watered down because they're designing it to work nicely with Quest. And so it's a Quest central world that we're living in now. This is just the reality, and it's going to have some trickle down effects that are going to happen to PC VR. Now, I'm not trying to say
I'm going to be back 2 seconds. I'll be back in a minute. So I keep talking, Tony.
Yeah.
I'll be back in a second.
No problem. Yeah, I know what he's going to do.
I thought he wanted to really argue a point with me, but what I was going to say is that, damn, what was I just talking about there? It's like, so yeah, the Quest is going to affect, here's what I was going to say. Okay, so PC VR, it's not necessarily going to be a complete and utter nightmare because we're going to get stuff like Tower Tag and Paper Beast and, Walkabout Mini Golf and Shooty Skies Overdrive and Project Wingman and we're going to get these small, they're not going to be AAA. We're not going to get so much AAA. We're going to get Vin VR Adventure. We're going to get these smaller games, and they're still going to be good. But some people, when they buy VR, they're like, I want like Grand Theft Auto 5 VR. Where is it, man? I want Fallout 4 VR. I want Skyrim. You know what I mean?
I want Assassin's Creed.
Yeah. And you're going to get Assassin's Creed if you got a Quest 2.
Yeah,
So
right.
it's kind of this weird thing, but yeah, so it's been really good and really bad. I mean, on the good side, we have, here's the best thing about VR right now, Sebastian.
Yeah.
The best thing about VR is that video that went viral of 3 little kids opening up their Christmas presents and they were Oculus Quests and they were running around screaming. Have you seen that little video?
I haven't seen the video. I haven't seen it.
All over. You haven't seen it?
Really? Okay.
It's 3 kids. They're opening their Christmas presents, and all 3 of them got Oculus Quest, and they're like opening it up. They're like, "Oh my God, it's a Quest!" And they're like running around their house and everything. And that is the video. That is the power of $299. It is really changing the game. Developers that are making Quest games get 10 times the amount of sales on the Oculus Quest. Quest is going mainstream, and that is great for VR in general. A lot of PC VR people say, dude, why do you like the Quest, man? Here's why I like the Quest. I want to play Grand Theft Auto 6 in VR. And if that's going to happen, VR has got to go mainstream. I want to play Red Dead Redemption in VR. And if that's going to happen, VR has got to go mainstream. And so anything that can possibly take VR mainstream, I love it. And that's why I love the Quest, because it's at the price point. Everything is there. You could go to Target and buy it. You can go to Walmart and buy it. It is available. It's easy. It's simple. And yeah, it is the evil Facebook, but oh well.
Right. I think you put it. You still put it really nicely into a box. Even you said you couldn't put it, but I think very well said.
I tried.
You did, and you succeeded. Okay. Well, Steve, how about your 2020? What do you think about the year?
Yeah, it's interesting because I've got this such a mixed feeling because of the Quest 2. I absolutely love the fact that new people are going to be coming from all over the place into VR. It's going to create such a huge, because we are still a niche sort of crowd, aren't we, really? And even now. And I do feel that for VR needs to be mainstream. And for that to happen, Oculus, Facebook, Quest 2, this is a great thing. It is a great thing. That the simple fact that, you could put a headset on, and you can be in a game and it just works. It's 90 frames per second or whatever it is. The game looks amazing. It feels great. You can share it with your friends. It's tethered. That's where we need to go. We totally need to go that way. I think that. But at the same time, how is anyone else going to compete with that? That's what concerns me. It's like that little corner shop you love to go to, and then suddenly a massive Tesco's or something opens up right next to it and sells everything cheaper, and it's great. It's like, well, what does this mean? For VR to move forward, we need to have other companies have a share in this pie. And as I am, quite opposite to Tony in the sense that I'm the enthusiast PC gamer that is quite happy to spend hours tweaking and tinkering and getting those settings correct. I know that I am literally like the niche of this thing, not many people like that. So the Quest 2 has to happen. The Quest 3 has to happen. But there needs to be that PC VR side of it. And I think it's been a little bit 50-50 this year. The HP Reverb G2, some incredible games come out. Half-Life Alyx, Medal of Honor. The Index, didn't that come out this year?
No, last year.
No, last year.
Last year, 2019.
Yeah, but not, it's an incredible time, really, for both of these platforms. I just hope they're able to sort of, grow together somehow and maybe amalgamate in some way. I think maybe if a Quest 3 came out with an HDMI link direct into the PC, that's what I would like, so that we can share all this together and not be that Apple and Android like you was talking about. I think that's what needs to happen, I think. But yeah, for 2020, amazing year for VR for me. Fantastic. Cool. I mean, obviously, not just for Microsoft Flight Simulator, just generally speaking, I think it's been a fantastic year. And I really hope, I'm really excited about what's going to happen this year with the likes of I think there's going to be another big VR headset, PC VR headset that's going to come out this year. I can feel it. I just think there is.
Cool.
Yeah,
I'm looking forward. I'm probably you're going to see it on MRTV first, hopefully. If I do my job correctly. Yeah, exclusively. Yeah, right. Okay, cool. Thanks. Yeah, guys. For me, you have just put it so perfectly into words. I can hardly match what you said. You're right. I just agreed to that what you said, and for me, I've probably even a bit more conflicted, I must say, because overall, I'm so happy that we have this $299 Oculus Quest 2, but I don't like into which direction the whole industry is heading, because there is no competition for the Quest 2, and it just makes it so harder for other players to get into the market and try something. Like we found out with the Mega Dodo, DecaGear One, it's just tough to compete against $299 headset. And I have at great length told you that I don't want to be in a virtual reality world where I'm being watched by Mark Zuckerberg over my shoulder. And for me, it takes away from my immersion being in VR, that I really have to think twice. Hey, am I being analyzed now here by the algorithm? Does the algorithm check it twice? At what am I looking in virtual reality? I cannot even have my private time anymore in VR that I could probably enjoy before, because I have to worry what is being sent to the Facebook servers with the cameras, right? Probably there's something that I don't want to be tied to my real name. So I must honestly tell you, I didn't enjoy the direction that VR was taking in 2020. Because yes, it is a super cheap headset for $299, but it just comes with so many strings attached that right now people don't see it because it's about playing Beat Saber and stuff. But 5 years down the line, when we work in VR, when we meet our friends, when socializing works in VR, and well, we're being monitored, and well, we now in this time gave them the permission to do so. Wow, guys, I must tell you, I really feel super conflicted, and I didn't like the direction that the industry is going. And also for PC VR, it's going to be tough for game developers to make those games, to make these really big games for PC VR when they see, okay, but I would sell 10 times more if I simply did a Quest game. And of course, it's about money. So, of course, they're not going to put all that effort into the PC VR games, right? And we're not going to see Medal of Honor 2 on the PC. We're going to see something else that's on Quest, and that's not as ambitious as, I don't know, like Half-Life Alyx was. So, in the whole thing, I must tell you guys, I am not really happy about the direction that VR took in 2020, and I don't think it's going to get better in 2021. Okay, well, I'm so negative. I'm like the super positive guy, right? In general, if you know my channel, I'm like, I love VR. I'm so enthusiastic about that. I love everything about it. But 2020, I felt a bit unhappy about it.
But Valve isn't Valve going to release another two? Didn't they say they're going to release 3 big VR titles?
Yeah, well,
changed.
They said that a couple of years ago that they were working on 3 big titles.
I think another one's coming.
Could be. But do you really think that will change the direction that we're taking right now? I personally don't think so. So yeah, Half-Life Alyx was amazing, but it didn't turn things around for PC VR. Yeah. I don't think so, right? So, yeah.
It's Half-Life Alyx. Isn't that one of the games that actually lived up to its hype? Everybody didn't actually look down on it.
This really lived up to its hype. It was amazing. Yeah, anyway, so to finish off my rant here about 2020, I think, this part was not so great, right, about the direction that everything took. So I'm really, really hoping, and I'm rooting for HTC or for Valve or for any of the big companies, Microsoft, Google, Apple, to come out with something that could be a competitor for the Quest 2. And that's not because I hate Facebook. It's because I think it would even be better for Facebook if there was a competitor, because then they would have to think twice about things like forced Facebook login. Probably they wouldn't do it if there was a competitor that doesn't force them to log in with social media, right? So I think to have this kind of competition is really important for the market. So I really, really hope for a competitor that can be good for Facebook, for the whole industry, and for us as a consumer. That is what I hope for. And that is my big hope for 2021 and the future. But in general, I'm still a VR enthusiast and a VR bull. I'm super bullish still on the whole thing. I'm also going to be bullish on AR. That's going to happen in a few years, hopefully. And so I think 2020 was a strange year in general, right? We know that that was crazy that year. I'm happy that it's over, but I also have some great news to share with you guys. So 2020 was the year for me that I, with MRTV, broke even, and I can live from the channel full time. Woo!
Wow.
Yes,
that's incredible.
That is really big.
Congratulations!
That is really big for me. That is super big for me, because like I'm actually an engineer, right? Electrical engineer, and I put everything onto VR. Like I stopped with my work and put everything onto VR because I believed so much into it. Put all the risk into working on this channel full time, and now in season 4, after 4 years, I'm breaking even now. I can pay the bills. I can pay the MRTV headquarter bills, also thanks to the donations that I'm getting in the live shows. And yeah, woo! MRTV is here to stay, and I broke even, and I made it, and I'm so unbelievably happy. So something positive came out of 2020 for me. Cheers.
Especially
incredible. Honestly,
considering.
I'm going to drink to that.
Yeah, cheers. Yeah,
Yeah,
so I'm
that's
really happy.
pretty amazing. That is awesome.
Thank you, man. Thank you. Yeah, so I've been really like working my ass off on this channel, as you know, for the last years, and yeah, broken even, and yeah, can keep on doing what I love, right? Talking about VR, and I made this my profession, and I'm really proud that I made it happen without like sucking up to Facebook and stuff. That's what this channel was about. That I serve the viewers, the subscribers, and not HP and not Oculus and not Pimax. That I'm really about like giving you honest reviews, and I'm super happy and proud that I made it. It was a tough road, and I'm not finished. I just broke even, so I can live from it, and that's what I want to tell you about 2020. So for me, that was a good year because I made it.
I think it's rare these days to have a big YouTuber and to have them still unbiased and completely independent. And honestly,
thank you, man.
Congratulations.
Thank you, man. Thank you. But I'm not big, right? I wouldn't say big. I'm like,
I think so.
Oh, thank you, man. Thank you. Great.
Well, to break even though is pretty incredible, and
Yeah,
I
that's
can
cool.
say I met Sebastian in real life at GDC
Yeah.
in 2019. And the one thing I can say about Sebastian is he is all in, man. Like this is his like I was,
I'm
I was
really all in.
watching him before we even started talking and stuff. He's like setting up his tripod, getting his camera ready, just like he's got plans, he's attacking it, he's going after it, he's all
Thank
in.
you, man.
So I mean, I give you credit for being completely all in on it.
Thank you. I am all into this, really. Yeah, thank you, Onikaze, $4 or $5. Cheers. Yeah. Lots of adult beverages had to be drunk to reach this break-even point. Anyways, enough about me. It was 2020 was very special for the whole world. Hope 2021 is going to be better. And before we end today's podcast, now let's have a look at the results. So, let's start with the favorite VR game in 2020. And Half-Life Alyx won with 74.4%. Congratulations, Half-Life Alyx. On the second place, Microsoft Flight Simulator, 11.5%.
Nice one. That's fantastic.
Congratulations.
That made my day.
On the third place, Star Wars Squadrons, 6.4%. On the fourth place, Walking Dead Saints and Sinners, 2.6%. And I'm going to share the link to the results later after the show. So Half-Life Alyx, congratulations. And now let's have a look at, wait a moment, let me go there to the hardware section.
G2's going to win. Why?
What is the hardware section? Let's see. And wow, that is interesting. What was the best VR hardware 2020? So 60.8% chose the HP Reverb G2. Wow. Wow. That is really interesting.
That is fantastic.
That is really interesting. Congratulations, HP Reverb G2, for making it happen, even though there was a flawed launch. But seems like the people who got it still enjoyed it very much. And congratulations.
It is an amazing headset.
It is an amazing headset. It really is. And HP, if you're watching this, our friend Tony here, he would love to check it out.
Yes.
Yeah. So do send him one to check it out.
Definitely.
Right, Tony?
Yeah,
You would
and
like
I'll
to
send
check
it right back. I can send it back in 2 months. So just
No
give me 60 days with it.
Okay.
And I'll give everybody my opinion.
I'm going to share this with the HP people, and hopefully you're going
Definitely.
to be able to try it out. Number 2, Oculus Quest, 33.8%. Yep, respectable. And Vive Cosmos Elite, 0%. And we still have Pimax 8KX, 5.3%. Yep, very interesting. So, wow, what an interesting poll. So, yeah, Half-Life Alyx and the G2. So, the best thing that you could do in 2020 was play Half-Life Alyx on the HP Reverb G2.
Yeah, totally.
It's
incredible.
it's a really incredible thing to do. Okay. Wow, that's it for the 3rd episode of the Next Dimension podcast. We really hope that you enjoy this show. If you do, please do give this a thumbs up. Share this episode with your friends, tell them about it, and hopefully next week Saturday, see you again here for the 4th episode of the Next Dimension podcast. Also, you will be able to find this show on SoundCloud, on Spotify, on Google Podcasts, on Alexa, not yet on iTunes because Apple still has not given us the permission to do this, but on the other podcasts places you will be able to find us. And we would definitely be happy about a positive review of this very young podcast, but lots of people watch it here, and it seems like you enjoy this, guys. So also do leave your comment under the podcast to help with the algorithm and simply tell all the people about it. That's it for the 3rd episode of the Next Dimension podcast, and see you next week. Bye-bye.
Take care.
All right. Yep, cool. That was it. Great. How did you enjoy? What did you think about the 3rd episode, guys?
We're still live right now?
We're still live, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, I mean, God, wow, it's a long podcast.
It's a long
actually,
one.
It didn't feel like it for me. But it just feels really refreshing to have something a little bit more, a bit honest and a little bit more, kind of just
Down to
like
earth.
3 friends just
Yeah,
chatting
right. I
rather
like
than
this.
It's less contrived, a little bit more free.
Yeah.
And I think we can just engage with the community a bit more that way.
That's
Just,
cool.
it's cool.
And Tony, what do you think?
Yeah, 3 hours is pretty long,
Yeah, it's
but
too long, yeah.
hey, Joe Rogan would be proud. No?
Yeah. Yeah, I think in the future our episodes won't be 3 hours. This was a special version now because we had to look back on so many things, right? We had to talk about the Quest 2, G2, Half-Life Alyx. I think
We should have broke it into 2 streams.
Yeah, you're right. Probably should have. But anyways, it's okay. I'm going to put timestamps in it so people can directly jump to the parts that they enjoy. And I think in the future, our podcasts are going to be shorter, probably like 90 minutes, something like this, 1.5 hours is good enough. That's what in general I think. And I also want to ask the people who are still watching us right now, what do you think of the Next Dimension podcast? Do you enjoy this show? What do you think? What can we do better? What is good? Yeah, and I agree, Steve. I really enjoy that. It feels like you're meeting some friends and you're talking about your most exciting hobby, right? So yeah, I really enjoy this. I really enjoy this so much, and I'm looking forward to lots more episodes.
I guess it's quite rare. Like, imagine going to the pub.
Yeah, that's what I want. That's exactly what I want. Yeah,
talking about VR. It just doesn't happen, does it? Let's face it. So it's great to kind of hang out with everybody in the chat.
Exactly.
And just chat about VR, which is just awesome, really. Yeah.
Yeah, really.
Love it.
So absolutely. Super enjoy this podcast. Looking forward to lots of episodes in this 2021. And everybody who's watching this right now, I want all of you 170 people to subscribe to VR365 and VR Flight Sim Guy. Really, because you probably are already subscribed to MRTV, but do subscribe to VR Flight Sim Guy. Steve here.
Thank you.
Do subscribe to VR365. Amazing channel. I really love Tony's and Steve's channels. Both are great. You see the guys are amazing. They put up amazing content that is just straight from the heart, right? Because you guys are enthusiasts, just like me. You love the stuff. Right, it's just like you're just doing it because you love it and you're enthusiastic about it, and same for me. I'm also super enthusiastic.
We're just doing it for the money, man. For the
money. Well, I do it. I do it obviously to be able to pay the bills and stuff. But because I did it because I'm enthusiastic about VR and I simply wanted to talk about VR, so I chose to make it my profession. But yeah, for you, it's like, yeah, you love the stuff and you're doing amazing channels. So all of the people who are watching this, do subscribe to VR Flight Sim Guy. I want 160 more subscribers on his channel. I want 160 more subscribers on Tony's channel. And all the links are down in the description of this video. I hope I put it there. I think I did. All right, great. So I think we call it a night. Yeah, it was great to see you guys.
Oh, it was great. Honestly, it
was really
I
good.
really missed last week, so it was great to be back.
Great to be back. Yeah, I would say that's it. Thanks for watching 3 hours, and we're looking forward to see you guys in the next episode. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Take care.